Hello, and welcome to the New York State Rowing Championships.
This weekend, May 14th and 15th, you will be sitting here with Meg. Two athletes of SRA, one alum, one active athlete. We're super excited to take you through the New York State Championship this weekend.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here on Fish Creek, real warm, so make sure you hydrate, sunscreen up, wear all your sun protective layers, but we've got pretty flat water, a little bit of a headwind, but nothing that should be too damaging to any of these crews. Pretty darn flat water, so we're lucky to be out here, and we'll get you back into the races as soon as we've got them live.
Yes, this morning we had some time trials. We saw a lot of great racing from crews. For all the viewers out there, what a time trial is when a crew gets to do a running start into the race course. They kind of row against the clock for themselves on 10-second increments. And now for the afternoon, for the Petite Finals and the Grand Finals, we'll be doing some side-by-side sprint racing.
Yeah, so super cool. All of these crews have already gotten down the course once today. Again, just like Meg said, 10 seconds apart, so we saw some passing, we saw some being passed, but a lot of a time trial will just be internal, kind of trying to run your race prior to getting side-by-side with other crews. So hopefully this afternoon we'll see some really competitive racing now that all of these boats have one race under their belt and they're ready to get competitive.
Absolutely, and this is going to be a very competitive event for all athletes out here. A lot of them are going to be qualifying for either SRA Nationals or Youth Nationals coming up in a couple of weeks here, so it's going to be great to see what New York State boats will get to send over to represent the entire country.
Yeah, super fun here. So we'll get started. I believe our first event, should they be running on time, we'll let you know, but our first event will be the girls' Varsity Quad Petite Final.
And in that race today, we are going to be having Buffalo Scholastic A, Poughkeepsie A, Friends of Shen A, Row New York A, Niskayuna B, and Our Lady of Mercy A, followed by Buffalo A. So that's going to be a really awesome event with what looks like 7
boats. Yeah, so here on Fish Creek, our Saratoga Rowing Association course, we've got a 10-lane course. It looks like today will be mostly just using lanes 0 through 8. So if you're here on the regatta site, lane 8 will be closest to the Saratoga Rowing shore with our timing shed and our live streaming and our Saratoga Rowing boathouse, and there's a few crews that are also launching out of the Saratoga Rowing site, and then building our way down to lane 0 and lane 1 will be over on the Lee's Park boat trailers, regatta site, merch tents, vendors, registration side.
Absolutely, and we'll have them getting lined up into those stake boats pretty soon if they're not already up at that start line. And getting into a stake boat is always a great opportunity for a coxswain to kind of utilize their communication between them, their bow seats, and their stroke seats. For all viewers that are listening, getting into a stake boat, you kind of pull in front of a stake boat, and the stake boats themselves have athletes or coaches, anybody who wants to help out, volunteer for the regatta, laying on them, holding all of the boats in line so that there's an even and fair start.
Kind of like getting to blocks for track or swimming, but we're out there on the creek in floating waters. So we've got these awesome like wooden platforms. Yeah, that I think we have all high school and middle school volunteers out there. So thanks for volunteering. If you're out there, we appreciate it. Can't run the regatta without you.
Absolutely, they really do get a great seat to watch the starts of those races.
First couple strokes, you're right there. You're literally off that stern deck. So as we wait for these boats to come down, sometimes the after lunch break, you can have some delays, whether it's getting our safety marshals or officials or volunteers or starting team or finish line team. All of these elements that kind of have to come together to be able to start the race. We've got people out there making sure that everybody is safe and fair, and should there be any sort of technical difficulties with equipment or timing or any of these launches that our wonderful officials and volunteers are in, we're ready to take care of that.
Absolutely, we do see a lot of crews from where we're seated from the Lee's Park side rowing up to the start line, so it looks like we're getting lots of events
ready to go.
Water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should be fun. So we just had some racing happening for our elite athletes of the program. We had a lot of awesome events. we had 2 athletes that are now at the senior camp, which is super awesome, and we had a lot of great racing from all of the other athletes.
Yeah, so our Orion team, which is what I'm a part of here at Saratoga, Advanced Rowing Initiative of the Northeast.
Yes.
We're coached by Eric Catalano, Cat, who you may see on the regatta site running around in his neon vest with his walkie-talkies today. We're a team of 10 athletes right now, and 8 of us were able to head down to Lake Mercer in New Jersey to row at our National Selection Regatta 2. We raced in doubles, so 2 people in a boat with 2 oars each. And this was our second step of the process to make the senior national team this summer. So we've got 2 athletes down at Mercer continuing on in selection camp. That's Hannah Painter and Christy Wagner.
Shout out them.
Christy, our regatta director, wearing many hats this week.
Yes, she is.
And then the rest of us will continue to train and try and gain some speed and see what we can show further in the summer.
Absolutely. It's always awesome to see a program really like built from top bottom and bottom up. It's amazing. Just in all programs across the United States, especially in New York. A little bit biased to our New York State Championships here, but it's always great to see all athletes being able to really represent and push their teams forward, because everybody has a really important seat in whatever boat they're sitting in that day.
We've got U15 Cox Quads, we've got U17 singles, we've got Varsity 8s, we've got junior quads, and a lot of that terminology, should you be new to rowing, we will help explain some of that as these boats come down and give you all the knowledge here. But right now we're just waiting again on that girls Varsity Quad, the Petite Final. So these will be the boats that were not part of the top 9 that advanced to the grand final. Still get a second race here. The Varsity Quad could be your top athletes from a program. It'll be often for women here who 2 oars each, trying to move together, no coxswain, so nobody's steering the boat, just the athlete themselves trying to make their way down the course as one.
It is always really interesting when you have a rower that is also steering the crew, because in the spring you're able to kind of utilize those buoy lanes on either side to help you stay in your course, and then in the fall racing sometimes you have to use points on land kind of as landmarkers to help keep your stern or the tip of your bow in line, ready to get you safely down that course.
Right, so shortest point A to B, start to finish, is that straight line.
Exactly.
The goal would be to stay right in your lanes, just like, again, a swimming race or a track race. Often crews may wander outside their buoyed lane. Typically, if they're in close contention or right next to another boat, the marshal will kind of signal them with a flag to move towards port, move towards starboard. Sometimes you're either far enough up ahead of the field or far enough behind the field that, going into someone else's lane is only a nuisance to yourself, only adds meters to your course.
Absolutely.
So we'll see if any of that happens. I know sometimes in the smaller boats or the boats without a coxswain, a little bit more pressure on the rowing athletes to do many jobs, pull hard themselves, and I'm sure, as you remember, Meg, like finishing the end of a 1500 or a 2K, you don't have many coherent thoughts left.
No. So if you're able to think about your steering as you're going as hard as you can for
it's a skill.
5, 6, 7
it's a learned
minutes
skill.
Racing, it definitely is. It takes a lot of skill to be able to do that as a rower. I always loved bowing during a race, because it kind of gave me like a second thing to try and work really hard at during that race. Sometimes I think if I wasn't bowing, or if I was in a seat where there wasn't like a second responsibility, so to speak.
You think too hard about how hard your legs hurt.
Exactly.
How bad your legs hurt.
It's almost a distraction to be able to be in bow.
Yeah, for sure.
What was your favorite seat to sit in? Are you at the end of the boat or middle of the boat?
In college, when we rowed 8s primarily, I was like a big middle of the boat engine room, like sit and pull hard.
Exactly.
I was a novice in college, so unlike all of these athletes out here, I didn't get the chance to row in high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so starting in college, I was a big strong girl, so I immediately pulled some quicker numbers on the erg, and then had to try and keep up technically while still pulling hard. Shout out,
that's
actually
awesome.
to my college. University of San Diego is out there racing at West Coast Conference Championships
awesome.
Today in California, so go Toreros.
That's amazing.
How about you?
Yeah, Syracuse is also racing today, their ACC championship. I'm a bigger girl myself as well. It's definitely fun being in the middle of the boat when you can just really emphasize on on how hard you get to pull and how strong you get to be as an athlete.
Yeah, so cool for a lot of these athletes out there too, in between races. Some of the seniors or even juniors may be talking to colleges. Some of those seniors may be committed to schools that they're going to row at. So probably a pretty cool downtime activity for those of you looking for something to do in the shade while you put your feet up in between that time trial and your final. Go check on your teams, your future teams or your prospective teams, see how they're doing, see who they're racing today, and I think a lot of conferences are also happening tomorrow. So big championships weekend, not only here in Saratoga Springs.
Absolutely, yeah. IRAs are coming up. We have NCAAs coming up. There's tons and tons of big races happening. I always love May. It's like the best time of the year for anybody that's a rower. There's so many conference championships happening, and just big regattas that are really, really key to being able to kind of make your name as a rower.
Yeah.
And truthfully, just have fun.
Oh, just put the season together.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, this is what we sit on the earth for all winter in upstate New York, is for this opportunity right there.
Yeah, think of those dreary afternoons when it's snowing and negative 18 degrees and you have to still go to rowing practice and still pull hard. A day like today, slight headwind, real warm, sunglasses are on, uni straps are out. Enjoy it.
They're enjoying the sun. I was once told a quote by actually former SRA director Chris Chase. He said, "You earn your medals in the winter and you collect them in the spring."
Let's go collect some medals today, Buoys.
Yeah, let's collect some medals for all crews in upstate New York. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it looks like we might be running a little bit behind schedule here today. Again, if you're just joining us, my name is Megan Goodman.
And I'm Meg Varco.
So we've got double the Megan coming at you over here from the Saratoga Rowing Shore. We'll be commentating on our live stream all day today. Once we can get that up and running, we'll have that for you. But it is afternoon of day 1 of the New York State Rowing Championships.
Yeah, so you might notice on our schedule we do have a lot of female athletes racing today. Today is primarily focused on getting all of our female athletes on the water, and then tomorrow will be a lot of more men's teams racing down the course. However, in the afternoon, towards the mid-afternoon, we do have some boys races mixing in amongst our female races.
So I think the general plan for today was big boats for the women and smaller boats for the men. And then tomorrow will be big boats for the men and smaller boats for the women. So good for some coaches to maybe be able to see some bigger boat lineups and put you in smaller boats, or test some small boat speed and then get to just rip on it in the big boats.
Absolutely. And when we say big boats, we're typically talking about 4 or 8 people in a shell. So either your 8, your quads, your 4s, whether those all be coxswain or without coxswain, and then our smaller boats are going to be your doubles, your pairs, your single, and it's really awesome to see how one athlete could hop from one boat, maybe a big boat, over to a small boat. Just really shows the depth of the athlete's talent and ability to be able to have all those different rowing experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we continue to see a lot of athletes launching and making their way up to the start line right now. It looks like our marshals are getting ready to send off that first race.
And a lot of times, if racing is delayed, it's obviously not on any purposeful account. We just want to make sure that races happen safely and fairly, and we need a whole team of officials and marshals and volunteers to make that happen. So,
absolutely. Thank you to all of our marshals that have been helping out, all the other volunteers that have been helping out. We really could not have done this without you. It's been such an awesome thing to have all of our local schools as well, not only Saratoga, who's hosting the regatta, but also Bethlehem, Niskayuna, we have Burnt Hills, we have Shenandoah, Shaker, all coming over to help run this regatta. And for anybody that's joining right now, it is about 12:10 in Saratoga Springs, New York. We're super excited. Couldn't have asked for better weather to see our New York State race this weekend. We do have a couple petite and grand finals occurring. Looks like we're going to kick off the day with our girls varsity quad petite final 1. We have Buffalo Scholastic A in lane 2, Poughkeepsie High School A in lane 3, Friends of Shen in lane 4, Row New York A in lane 5, Niskayuna Rowing B in lane 6, Our Lady of Mercy A in lane 7, and Buffalo Seminary in lane 8. After that, we'll have another girls varsity quad come down. It looks like for the grand final. So lots of quads to kick off the day.
And yeah, so the grand final and the petite final, that grand final will be our top 9 performing boats. If we have that full 9 boats or any more, will be the top 9 performing boats from that time trial. And then the rest will filter into the petite final. So you'll notice in some of our events there is only a final one, and that'll be the cause of only 7, 8, 9 boats showed up. If there's 10, 11, 12, 13, 16 boats, then we'll move into those 2 different finals. That kind of gives all of our boats, no matter the speed, a chance to have a competitive race. Often you'll get teams that are more experienced or larger or have more resources or really any sort of reason that they've been able to find more speed, and then other schools that maybe have not found that much speed. And so this is a good chance as a state championship to give everyone a good race, a good competitive race, because we all know that racing is more fun when you get to do it bow ball to bow ball, stroke for stroke.
Absolutely. And the really nice benefit of having time trials is it gets to put everybody into time-oriented slots. So if you were, say, in your top 10 fastest boats of the event and you have more than 10 boats in it, you'll be able to race that grand final amongst other super fast and super competitive crews that are around your speed. And then as you trickle down into a petite final, you have typically like an 11 through 20 spot finishing after that time trial. And as Megan just said, it really allows all crews to stay competitive amongst their boat speed and with the competitors that they're competing against.
So just some news for you. It looks like we're having some launch issues up at the start. We'll keep you updated on those, but again, don't want to send any race down without the proper safety and fairness precautions. So really just keeping everyone's regatta in mind. Our apologies for running a little bit behind here already.
Yeah, it'll be totally okay. We'll get them off to a start. It looks like our stake boaters are all up at the start, getting ready to lock in and hold all those crews for the remainder of the afternoon. We have begun seeing some boats launching from the Saratoga side of the shore, so it truly does look like the races are about to be underway. And for all the coaches and parents and athletes that are sitting on the shore, just a reminder, with it being so nice and warm and hot today in upstate New York, stay hydrated, stay in your shade, wear some hats, sunscreen. It really does make a huge difference at the end of the day, just proper sun protection and hydration for your energy level. Free speed.
Shade is free speed.
Absolutely.
Food is free speed. Water is free speed.
Food is fuel.
Any speed that you don't have to work really hard for, man, I'll take it.
Exactly. It's amazing just how properly fueling yourselves or hydrating yourselves can actually add some speed into that shell.
All right, we're going to check in on the situation. We'll take a short break, and then we'll be right back as soon as the races are up and going. Hello, and welcome to afternoon of day 1 at the New York State Rowing Championships. We have a race on the course. I'm excited to get to ya.
This is Meg and Meg from SRA side of things. We're looking at our Petite Girls Varsity Quad Final. This is going to be a 7-boat race. Racing in that event is going to be in Lane 2, Buffalo A, Poughkeepsie A in Lane 3, Friends of Shen in Lane 4, Row New York 5 in Lane 5, Niskayuna Rowing B in Lane 6, Our Lady Mercy A in Lane 7, and then Buffalo A in Lane 8.
So this will be the Petite Final of the Varsity Quad. So all of these women have already raced on the course once this morning in a time trial. One by one boat at a time off of a 10-minute center. So they go, 10-second center. And how fast they completed that time trial put them in either the final 1 or the final 2 for this afternoon's race. All of these boats will be in our final 2, so this will be numbers 9 through 16 of the Varsity Quad. So 4 athletes, 4 oars each, nobody steering other than the athletes themselves.
Awesome. And if you look on your screen now, you are looking at the start of the race. So on the left side of your screen will be Lane 8, followed by Lane 7. Working towards the right of your screen, you'll get all the way to Lane 2. So it looks like we have a boat potentially in Lane 4 out in front. Friends of Shen, if I could guess. Looks like everybody's working and moving down the water really nicely together.
Pretty good conditions here. It's gorgeously sunny, maybe even too hot, and a little bit of a puff of a headwind, but water staying flat. Conditions are good. Times should be just on standard here. Again, Saratoga Invite. First race on the course. You can see our awesome drone footage we've got up. We'll try and get right to our boats, get you the race finishing here. But again, those Varsity Quads on the course now. First race of the afternoon, first final of the regatta.
Absolutely, and what a way to kick off the finals for racing. It does look like we have an 8 that's about to cross the lane, just in front of this event, or just after. But you can still see in Lane 4, we do have a crew that's leading the pack. It looks like they have popped out. They're coming into that middle 500, and they're really, really leading the pack. I would say, based off what we're looking at for the drone footage, everyone else is neck and neck, racing for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way through 7th.
That Lane 4, a little bit of chip on their shoulder maybe, that they didn't make that A final and really going for it now.
Absolutely, they're powerhouses.
They are. Wow, will be a fight for 2nd here, but looks like Friends of Shen has really taken charge of this race.
Definitely. And you can see that's tight racing all the way across the board for the rest of those crews, and even for Lane 4, Friends of Shen, getting to watch all of their competitors off their stern tip. You can, as an athlete, you would really want to be pushing off, creating as much open water as humanly possible. Alright, so they would appear to be crossing into that last 500. You can kind of see a little dock off to your left-hand shore that kind of allows...
That little gazebo's the 500, like, time to go, ready to sprint, take a deep breath, and hold on to those red buoys.
Exactly. And they are certainly doing that. Can't wait to see them get into that red buoy zone, see if any of these crews are going to make a really awesome sprint to that finish line.
So the red buoys in a rowing race are like the final 100-meter stretch, the final lap, the last at-bat. It's your last chance to give it a go. You've got 250 meters, maybe 30 strokes. Empty the tanks. These will be the last race for a lot of these women this afternoon. Maybe they've got one more final in the 8 or in a smaller boat tomorrow, but all we know is here's their race. This is the Petite Final, and it looks like Shen is going to continue to walk away with it.
Yeah, and they're definitely putting it down. They're letting it be known that they're going to lead the pack all the way to that finish line. And for any of our seniors that are in this event, awesome last go down the race course. If you're continuing into college, we're excited to see it, and if not, what a way to finish your rowing career. So it looks like we also have some movement in Lane 7. Lane 7 being Our Lady of Mercy A. They're kind of pushing out in front of the pack to come in at a 2nd place.
Seeing if they can put a little bit of separation between themselves and the field before those final strokes.
Absolutely. And
but here we go, yeah. Shen in the last 200 meters, moving really nicely together. Blades in the water, right back towards the bow, and then scooping up the water, pushing hard with those legs.
They're rowing very crisply. Everybody's swinging together, which is awesome. And you can see, especially from the shoreline, they have at least 100-meter lead on the rest of the pack, which is great. And especially with this drone shot right now, just looking overhead, seeing all those oars pop in and out at the
Looks like a little spider.
Yeah,
I love
it.
Just crawling along.
Totally.
Here we go. We've got Shen in the last 100 meters. Those bright green unis. Upstate New York solidarity here.
Yes.
Like, we know Fish Creek. We've been here before.
This is not our first time in the rodeo. There you go. You get a side profile shot. Look at all those girls coming up to that
I see some
catch.
power braids in that boat.
Yes, free speed right there. And they have crossed the
Well done,
line.
Shen. Winner of the Petite Final here. Might be interesting. The conditions aren't too variable right now, so we'll have to see how that Petite Final time will stack up against our Final 1 results.
Absolutely, and you have lane 7 leading the pack right now, and it looks like lane 5 is going to be pushing in for a 3rd place finish.
Our Lady of Mercy and Row New York.
Awesome. This is an amazing sprint all the way to the finish line. You have 4 crews right now with overlap. In lane 8, we have Buffalo A. They'll be pushing for that 4th place finish.
We'll have a tight run for 4th.
Against lane 6, which would be Niski B.
I would say Niski B with that 4th place there.
Amazing. And we have 2 crews left that are rowing all they can into that sprint right now. Looks like in lane 3 we have Poughkeepsie A. And then off to the left in lane 2 we have Buffalo A. Amazing. The last 250 meters
the
of the
energy
sprint.
here.
Yeah.
Go, boats, go.
They're doing it. They're crushing it. They're rowing really well together. Takes a lot of courage to be able to sprint in that last 250. Every rower is taught to do it, and to be able to execute it really well is something that a crew that's right in time with each other is able to do. So well done to all of our varsity girls.
Good work
in the Petite
there.
Final.
Petite Quad Final. Sometimes hard on a day like today when it's toasty out there, especially with a little bit of delayed racing, to gather up enough stamina, energy, not drink all your water before the start.
All of the above.
Good work to all of these crews who made it down the course really strong. What a way to start off the afternoon.
Absolutely.
Our next race here, hopefully on the course momentarily, starting from the left-hand side of what will be your screen, the closest to the Saratoga rowing side, will be Oak Neck Rowing A, Niskayuna Rowing A, Royal America Rye A, Port Jefferson A, Augustine Classical A, Albany Rowing A, Oak Neck Rowing B, Augustine Classical B, and Long Island Rowing A. So props to Augustine Classical and Oak Neck, 2 boats in this grand final. Well done.
Awesome, and they're already off to a start. You can see just in that first 500 meters there's already some separation, but also some competitive groups of boats coming down that race course. It looks like towards the center lanes, the center couple lanes, we have a couple leaders leading that pack. And you can really see all 4 girls are working hard to get their crew to be able to cross the finish line first for this grand final.
So you can work hard, you can push hard, but you can't do it by yourself.
Exactly.
Right? You need the other three women in your boat to also be pushing in the same way, at the same time, with the same intensity and the same mindset.
Exactly. And I do believe this is a qualifying event for nationals, correct?
I believe so.
So at least our leading boat, as well as I believe second place, will be able to qualify for nationals.
Yeah, we'll get those exact qualifying standards. It'll vary race to race, but so it looks like we've got Oak Neck with a lead, Niskayuna about astern, Royal America Rye and Augustine Classical. That Oak Neck boat trying to extend just a little bit more lead on the Niskayuna Rye, or Niskayuna rowing boat. That Niski boat actually placed 5th at the head of the Charles this year.
That's awesome.
And their stroke seat is on the U.S. junior team.
Wow.
So big things happening. We'll see if that boat can find some speed here in the last 300 meters, chase down Oak Neck.
There they are, and they've entered the red buoys. You can really see all four of their bodies swinging together to get them to cross that line first.
Oh, we've got energy, we've got fight. All of these athletes just squeezing towards the line. Oak Neck barreling down these last 100 meters.
Absolutely. Such a competitive event right here.
Look at that Oak Neck bow ball just surge.
Yeah. You can really see them pick their whole shell up out of the water.
That'll be Oak Neck, yep, with first.
Niskayuna
through. Maybe 2 seats of open, just behind, a little bit more separation to the back of the field. It looks like that's Augustin Classical.
And 4.
Then Row America Rye.
And they're still pushing for those last couple of spots in today's race. They're rowing it all the way through.
I believe that was Oak Neck B, Albany, Port Jefferson.
And we have 2 crews left in this event. We have Long Island A and Augustin Classical B. They're bringing up the rear of the race, and they're going hard into this last 250.
That was quite a spicy field for top 7 there.
It was. It was tight racing.
First two, the first 2 really separated themselves, Oak Neck and Niskayuna, and then, man, 5 boats, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and especially when you're racing, there's a couple of different places that you can really assert yourself throughout a race. The start, the centers, and really the sprint. And being able to assert yourself right off the start is a really powerful thing that a crew can do. But being able to sustain it the whole way down the course is amazing.
That's the key. Looks like Augustin Classical B through the line, followed by Long Island Rowing Club, finishing out this grand final.
Absolutely.
Well done, boats.
Well done, everybody. And it looks like our next race is going to be a girls junior quad, so our U17 quad. This is going to be, again, without a coxswain, so our bousy will be taking the tow with their steering. In this event, we are going to have in lane 8, all the way on the left-hand side of your screen, Oak Neck Rowing A. In lane 7, Burnt Hills Rowing A. In lane 6, Row America Rye A. In lane 5, Oak Neck Rowing B. In lane 4, City Island Rowing A. In lane 3, Port Jefferson Rowing A. Lane 2, Row New York A. And in lane 1, Poughkeepsie A. So we're going to have a couple crews from Oak Neck again in this race.
It's a deep program.
It absolutely
got a lot of athletes here today.
Yeah.
Meg, you mentioned earlier, steering with their toe.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yeah, awesome. Great question. So steering with your toe, the shoe is hooked up to a rudder through like wires in the boat, and turning your toe to the left or the right will allow your rudder to turn to the left or the right. So it's kind of like a steering wheel, but if it was tied onto your shoe.
To the top of your foot.
Exactly. And every boat can be different. If you point your toe to the left, it could go to starboard, it could go to port. It's really up to how your coaches and your boat masters have rigged the crew.
But we can see this field. This will be our only final here, so just 8 boats in this event. Girls Junior Quad and U17 Quad. So potential for some of these boats to be scholastic, all from the same school, and other boats to be club, so from different schools. Those will mean slightly different qualifications for a nationals or a regionals event. But right now, I think probably what's going through the mind of a lot of these ladies is just pull hard, get our bow ball out.
Exactly. Yeah, that's always the mentality of so many athletes, is just, I'm not going to think about anything except going as hard as I can.
Yeah. And you'll see likely in a lot of these races, the boats closer to the Saratoga side may be slightly further ahead. So that's how we seed these boats, fastest boats in the lanes 8, 7, 6, and then moving down to the boats that were further behind in the time trial to 3, 2, 1, and 0. So the goal would be a nice cascading line of bow balls. As we saw in our first 2 races, sometimes you get some people that maybe have a little bit more to prove or are fighting a little bit harder after that time trial.
Absolutely. And it's always great when you can have a cascading line of bow balls, especially because as athletes, you want to have the next fastest crew directly next to you so that you can try and beat them, you can try and push off of them, and it just keeps it really competitive and a really healthy environment for athletes to be able to race in.
Yeah, for sure, because especially you're going backwards.
Exactly.
In this event, you have nobody calling where you are. So to be next to a crew that's similar speed is ideal. It does look like we do have those leaders from the outside: Oak Neck, Burnt Hills, and Row America Rye.
As you look across the field, you can see a lot of crews. It looks to be that they're coming into that last 500 meters in a couple
See
of strokes.
that big white buoy with the little green one next to it on our left-hand shore? There she goes. Goodbye.
That would be our 500-meter buoy that helps mark to the athletes where they are in the course. Some of them, potentially their stroke seats, will have a stroke coach, and that will either count up or count down their mileage for how far into the race they are. Only they can really determine how far in they are without utilizing the landmarkers or the buoys, but for all the other athletes and them, if you look off to your left or your right, you'll be able to see those big buoys to say, all right, I only have 500 meters left.
Time to go. Hold on tight.
Go. Empty the tank.
Another beautiful drone shot. It does look like we have that Oak Neck with the lead, with maybe Row America Rye taking a seat or two over Burnt Hills, and then back to Oak Neck B. Then Port Jefferson, Row New York, followed by City Island and Poughkeepsie. You can see really cool jet trails, like we see planes in the sky. You can see jet trails from the planes. You can see these trails from our boats, and a little bit of wiggling. These are a junior quad with no coxswain, so I wouldn't expect a nearly perfect line. Slight adjustments by potentially the bow seat with that toe that Mega mentioned. But look at that Oak Neck, just beautiful, clearing those puddles. You can see the white splashy swirly parts. They're just skipping right over, placing the blades and kicking it back again.
And they really are pushing it far off the stern, so if you look towards the right of the screen, you'll see the stern end of the boat, and you can tell that a crew is really moving when those white splashy puddles that Meg was just talking about is fully moved past the stern as they're rowing by. So these athletes here are really taking the initiative to make sure they're lifting up all of the body weight of their crew and more, and sending it towards the finish line.
Row America Rye really hugging that line next to Burnt Hills, maybe a tactic to just see. Oh, you can see they've moved slightly off the line there, but Row America Rye trying to upset their third place seed and get that silver medal here.
Absolutely. And they would be crossing into the last 250 right here, absolutely dominating the field. And even within this race, it's almost like we have 2 or 3 races going on. As we saw that overhead drone shot, we have
Oak Neck wants no part of any race.
Exactly.
They're like, we're getting up and out.
They totally are, because you have Oak Neck, Burnt Hills, and Row America Rye right here in your top 3 really fighting it out. But then you have Oak Neck, City Island Rowing, and Port Jefferson bringing up the next almost race, being super competitive for those next couple spots. And of course we have Row New York and Poughkeepsie fighting it out.
And Oak Neck through the line here. Well rowed, ladies. Junior U17 quad.
Amazing job.
Row America Rye. Big swings. Good work there, boat. Nice.
Look at that shot of our athletes coming all the way up to that catch. That's awesome.
And here comes Burnt Hills. I could see their bow seat glancing for the buoys. Where are they? I know we're close.
And you could just see all the athletes after the racing collapsing into their own laps. That's awesome.
I believe this is Oak Neck B.
In lane 5.
Yep. Big red boat.
And we also have some speed braids right here.
Power braids, let's go!
Braids.
You can see them looking towards shore, like, please let the orange buoys be there soon. I believe we've got Port Jefferson.
In lane 4. And so we also have City Island Rowing here in lane 4. And over in lane 3, we have Port Jefferson crossing the line. Great job. You can see that bow seat turning around, making sure she's going to go fully centered of those 2 orange finish line buoys. And in lane 2, we have Row New York A finishing. And in lane 1, we have Poughkeepsie A.
Our outside crew there.
Yep, they're going to be closest to the Lees Park side of the shore for all of the Poughkeepsie family and friends that are cheering on their quad coming down the course right now. Awesome job, coming all the way out to that full catch. You can really see, you can see that bow seat's looking over her shoulder every so often just to make sure she's going to finish with an amazing line.
Be right in those lines, right in between the buoys. Now, it's not really, unless you hit a buoy, a disadvantage to be on the line, but often just a peace of mind. Here comes Poughkeepsie A in lane 1 through the line, and that's all boats for our girls junior U17 quad.
Great job racing, everybody. Love to see it.
Look at that view. Look at our gorgeous Fish Creek. Some great
Amazing.
drone footage for you here today. This will all be live streamed. Share with your family, streamlinerowing.com, or you can find it on the Saratoga Rowing Regatta YouTube. It can be rewatched, so if we say anything good, bad, or ugly about any of your crews, you
can
go find it later, go rewatch.
And also for all the athletes, if you ever want to look back and watch how your race was going and just kind of get some tape, it's always great to be able to look and see how you're technically rowing in the middle of the race when you're not thinking about it. That really allows an athlete to understand their full technical abilities when you're really pulling so hard that your brain isn't able to think about how you look. Being able to focus on it on a steady state practice or a drill when you're not racing could add some free speed.
Absolutely.
As well.
So a lot of these crews will be hopefully trying to move towards SRAAs or nationals. Some of these crews I can see 4 or 5 Saratoga middle school boats, Saratoga mod boats on the docks right now, getting to launch for their upcoming Cox Quads event. Obviously these athletes likely will not be headed to nationals anytime soon, but their varsity teammates are trying to go for the gold here, and pretty cool to have all levels of athletes here. Some of these mod rowers, Meg, I know you're coaching them. They've been in a boat 3 months, some of them?
It's crazy. Even some of our athletes recently that signed up for spring rowing, they've only been in a boat for like 3 or 4 weeks, which is crazy that they're racing. And they all go after it with so much grit and just courage, and it's so great to see that, and really having varsity athletes, freshman athletes, be their role models for them for when they get to that age is awesome to see.
And in both directions,
yes.
Right? The younger athletes can look towards the varsity, maybe more experienced athletes for race skills and composure and mentality and maturity, but sometimes you gotta just attack a race like you're a new, fresh novice with the excitement and the heart and the fight and all of that. So pretty cool to see.
And it's always awesome when they come to the docks after a race and with big smiles on their face, and they're always like, "Oh, that was so fun." That's my favorite thing to see as a coach.
That's precious. Next event up will be left to right, your boys varsity single final 1. This will be the Petite Final. So these are our 9 athletes who did not make the grand final but are still out there ready to kind of show their stuff here.
Absolutely.
We've got Oak Neck E in lane 8, furthest to the left hand side of your screen. Port Jefferson B in lane 7, Manhasset A lane 6, Oak Neck D lane 5, Knox School A lane 4, Cascadilla Boat Club A lane 3. Lane 2 will be Row America Rye A, Lane 1 Spack and Kill Rowing Club A, and Lane 0 Brighton Rowing Club. So full 2 finals here.
Absolutely, yeah. This is going to be a full house. And for everybody that's new and watching, we are a little bit behind with racing. Just had some slight delays after the lunch break, but we're back, we're at it. And as Meg said, this is the boys varsity single. And so far, as we're coming off the start line and into that middle 500, it does look over in our far lane, lane 8, Oak Neck Rowing E might be ahead of the pack, followed closely by in lane 7, Port Jefferson Rowing B. And then across the middle lanes, in lane, I would say 5, 4, and 3, we have very tight racing coming through. Neck and neck, really pushing.
You're the only one in your boat here. You've got the shell, 2 oars, your feet are strapped in. You have maybe a stroke coach, so something that'll tell you time and distance and speed and strokes per minute. But really, it's you against your boat, against your competitors.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the single, you want to be super internal. You don't want to get too spooked by anybody, but this is the time to use your competition. Secrets, we like to tell the Saratoga varsity girls, go be the spooker, not the spooky. Right?
Yes.
So get off, be strong, be powerful, and looks like some of these athletes, after their time trial this morning, are ready to be the spooker.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the singles are really, really hard boat to row. You got to be really balanced, really strong and powerful, but you also have to have a lot of mental endurance to be able to get yourselves entirely down the course with full grit throughout the whole race. And it looks like we're heading into that last 250. So the rowers are most of the way down their course. And look at that.
Oak Neck rowing E, followed by Manhasset. Followed by, looks like we've got an open lane back from Port Jefferson B, Manhasset A, that's second boat in, and then really tight racing between Oak Neck D, Knox School, Cascadilla, and Row America Rye.
Absolutely. And you can really see this overhead shot is doing a great job.
It's gorgeous.
They've picked up their rating, they've picked up their power, and picking up your rating allows you to take more strokes every minute, and being able to do that at the end of the race is really hard to do sometimes.
And in the single, there's a lot of room still left to go. None of these boats here, Oak Neck's got a lead, Manhasset's got a lead, but between Oak Neck D, Knox School A, Cascadilla A, and Row America Rye A, like, nobody's out of it.
Yeah, every crew is still in this race. That much is clear. The awesome thing about singles is a 4-second difference could look like open water, but it's really only 4 seconds. You can gain that back so easily and so quickly. Yeah, and look at that over on the far right side.
Ooh, we got a fight happening.
We have a big fight happening. It looks like all crews are in that last 250. They're all fighting it out. We have Oak Neck E just finishing, but we have a crew pushing on the right-hand side, second to the right.
I believe that's Cascadilla trying to take on Knox School and Manhasset.
Wow, look at them go. What a sprint.
Go, boats, go. 3 strokes to the line.
Everybody is hanging in there. Such
Mega, it sounds like a traffic jam over here. Because those last 3 boats came in so close.
It did.
Phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Really good racing there, all crews. We are finishing in here. We've got, looks like Spack and Kill rowing from that outside lane.
Absolutely. Over in lane 0.
Brighton rowing, excuse me.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop here with the singles. We do have another round of single boy varsity finals next. This will be lane 8, Long Island rowing A, Oak Neck rowing A in lane 7, Friends of Shen A in lane 6, in lane 5, Port Jefferson rowing A, lane 4, Niskayuna rowing A, lane 3, Oak Neck rowing C, in lane 2, West Side rowing A, in lane 1, Oak Neck rowing B, and in lane 0, Liverpool High School A. So this is a lot of really fast competitive teams. You see a lot of A boats in there. You also do see some B's and C boats. So that just goes to show the depth of the program and them being able to produce a lot of speed.
Oak Neck just throwing so many boats out there. The depth of speed there is impressive. Just want to let everyone know that the race results are becoming available as they're published. They'll be on streamlinerowing.com under results of the New York State High School Championships 2022.
Awesome.
So far we've got both of those girls Varsity Quads finals, the Petite and the Grand, as well as the girls Junior U17 Quads. And I'm sure these varsity singles will be following up just underway.
Definitely. And we can see them, they're coming up, they're in that middle 500 right now. The middle 500 is really an opportunity for a lot of these crews, especially them being such small boats, to make any big moves, whether that's gain some more open water that they already had established off the start. If you were a crew that had a little bit of a slower start, you can really make a lot of power moves through the center piece, maintaining or even speeding up a little bit.
Yeah, that middle 500 is where fitness is relied on, is trusted. That whole mental toughness when it gets hard. That first 500 tends to be pretty adrenaline fueled. You've been sitting at the start, you're warmed up, maybe you've had to sit a little bit, you're looking at your competitors. That first 500 can feel quick and fast and over too soon. And that last 500, again, you can hear the crowds. Whether you're over on Lee's Park Shore, this Saratoga Shore, we've got a few cowbells, some parents that are vocal, which we appreciate.
Absolutely.
But that middle 500, you're kind of out there in the middle of the creek. You can't see spectators. You're just in your own head, and you got to just rely on that fitness, trust the fitness, and power through.
Kind of doing it on your own. Yeah, definitely the middle 500, the quote, the longest distance you ever have to travel is the distance between your ears comes into play.
Ooh!
All about that brain.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely. Luckily, it does seem like all of our crews are getting out of that middle 500, and they're crossing into
Looks like we're almost in that last 500. They're coming off our screen here on that right-hand side, but we'll get you the rest of our views when we can.
Absolutely, and you can see in the screen right now one of our marshals. Shout out to all the volunteers that have helped make this regatta possible.
We can see our Long Island Rowing Club A and Oak Neck Rowing A and Friends of Shen A singles coming down. This will be our fastest boys varsity single in New York State.
Yeah, trying out for those national championships entries right here. It's going to be great. Some of these teams can go to SRAAs if they're representing their school, and some can go to youths. What's interesting enough is since it's just one person in this boat, they don't have to worry about rowing
being
with
all the
someone else in their
same school.
So really, they can go to either if they want to.
Very good point here.
Yeah. Awesome. So it would look like an athlete on the far shore, the Lees Park side,
is holding their own.
Absolutely.
Could be Liverpool High School or Oak Neck B, potentially West Side Rowing. I know with that Bright Uni, Niskayuna in the hunt.
And you can see them about 100 meters away from the red buoys, getting ready to start that sprint.
What's your favorite red buoy line from a coxswain or a teammate?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I used to have a teammate that would say put him in a body bag. A little aggressive, but it got the job
You know what?
done.
That just gave me the chills.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'll do it.
Yeah, and when you're knee deep in a race and you really just need to hear something to empty it all out, that definitely
That's
was
what it
inspiring.
is. Wow.
Yeah. What about you?
I like a classic empty the tank, like a good reminder of just don't leave anything out. We've got quite a race here. Lots of boats coming through the line. It does look like that Oak Neck and Long Island A boats. Maybe Long Island with a smidge of a lead. Friends of Shen and Niskayuna and Port Jefferson trying to hold on here. But wow, really tight field, Meg.
Just across the board, you can see on the screen, you can see from the shores, everybody in that race. Wow.
That's Oak Neck with the lead. Long Island with the lead. Oak Neck close second. There's Port Jefferson in the blue. Niskayuna in the red.
Look at that suspense from
Shen
lane
not
8.
not backing down in the green.
Wow, amazing.
Lane 8, Long Island Rowing Club A, crossed that line. Oak Neck with a final sprint, didn't let Long Island get more than a boat of open.
And Friends of Shen really sprinting to that line.
I think that's Port Jefferson over Friends of Shen.
So close.
Niskayuna.
Tight racing right there, and we still have tight racing coming through the
Oak
line.
Neck,
With lane 3.
West Side, Oak Neck B.
All the way coming up, finishing it off strong with Liverpool A.
Great
Amazing
racing, gentlemen, there.
Yeah,
wow, that was
absolutely.
fun.
That was awesome.
I hope that
to
was
watch.
as fun for you as it was for us to watch in that last 250.
That was awesome. And it does look like we're going to continue with our small boats for this next race. So, as mentioned before, our small boats are going to be anybody that has 2 or 1 rower in them. This is going to be a pair, though. So, a pair is 2 rowers, 1 oar each. So, it's a sweep event. And they typically do not have a coxswain. I don't think I've ever seen a cox pair yet. I do know they exist.
I've seen them. Didn't look all that fun because
Yeah.
you have all of the, benefits of a small boat. It's light, it's quick, you got 2 oars and that's it. And then you throw,
Coxswain.
I'm not going to call them dead weight, but maybe
Extra?
extra, not as pulling hard weight.
Yeah. Weight where they don't have an oar in their hand.
Got some results here for you. The boys varsity single Petite Final. So we're going to read these guys and then we'll take a look at how the boys varsity grand final went, see how comparable those were. We've got leading the way Port Jefferson B 6:26, Oak Neck D 6:36, Cascadilla 4 seconds back 6:40, Row America Rye 6:44, Spack and Kill only 1 second back 6:45, Knox School 1 second back 6:46, Brighton 7:06, and a little bit of empty spaces there. Oak Neck and Manhasset scratched. Hopefully for good reason they're going to go find speed in another boat here.
Absolutely. And it does look like our pairs race is underway, so this is going to be our boys varsity pair petite final. We have 4 boats in this event. In lane 8, all the way to the left-hand side of your screen, is Buffalo Scholastic B. In lane 7, Iona Preparatory School lane A. In lane 6, Manhasset High School C. And in lane 5, Warwick Crew A. So You can see all 4 crews on the screen. Amazing competition right here. I personally love the pair. One of my favorite boats to row. What about you?
When the pair's moving, it's so nice.
It's so
one
nice.
of those boats that often is significantly more technical. It's hard, but when you get somebody that you just can telepathically read their mind and you can pull the same, it moves. Looks like we've got Buffalo Scholastic B with a little bit of a lead, maybe followed by Manhasset with Warwick and Iona Prep slightly off the pace.
Absolutely, and you can really see this is different from the singles event that we just saw. Each athlete has 1 oar in their hand versus the singles. The single athlete has 2 oars in their hand, and this does take a lot of technical skill to be able to set up the boat. It's really important to catch together and be able to push off that catch at this exact same time to keep the boat straight.
You can see these guys are leaning out to their side and hoping that their teammate also leans out in the same direction, same amount. So it looks like Buffalo Scholastic B, and then that'll be in lane 7, Iona Prep, coming in maybe a couple seats down.
And they're into that last 250 right here. They're hauling.
We are swinging
everything they can do to get to that finish line as quick as they can. And you just see how long their strokes are, yet so powerful and quick.
Yeah, this Buffalo Scholastic B crew just picking it up. Oh, here we go, right up. Bow seat must have called something.
Yeah.
Time to move now. Wow, great surge at the end there, Buffalo Scholastic.
Look at that.
Iona
Amazing.
Prep, not more than a couple boat lengths back, also picking it up here towards the end.
Yeah, they're kicking it into high gear. And in 3rd place, we do have some competitions going on between Manhasset and Warwick. And it
Looked like Manhasset's going to take that.
Absolutely. What a great racing event. And we do have, after this is over, we do have another boys pair race. This is going to be our grand final for the pairs race. It is underway. And it is a full event with 9 boats in it, which is very exciting.
So starting from your left-hand side, lane 8, Canisius A, Oak Neck A, Manhasset A, Row America Rye A, Oyster Bay A, Row America Rye B, Friends of Shen A, Manhasset B, Buffalo Scholastic A. And it looks like maybe Canisius and Manhasset up a little bit with Oak Neck, Row America Rye, and Oyster Bay right in the mix. And then another race happening, Row America Rye B, Friends of Shen, Manhasset B, and Buffalo Scholastic. Just maybe a boat length off the pace. Can't be much here.
And this is such a competitive event, especially for all these grand finals that we're going to be seeing throughout the day. It's really impressive to see a crew that's worked so hard all winter and be able to showcase that for this spring racing season. And it does look like in lane 6 and in lane 8 we have 2 crews that are pushing it out, Manhasset A and Canisius A.
Looks like we might have had
a scratch.
I can't tell if that's lane 7 Oak Neck empty or if our Canisius A team has somehow moved out of their lane, but
awesome.
I've counted 9 boats, so we might have some movement of lanes. This pairs race is something that often can be a little bit more difficult with steering. You got to match that other person directly. You have no coxswain. Often no foot steering. I don't know if you had foot steering when you rode pairs, but I think sometimes it's easier just to steer off of pressure than having a tow in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does look like these crews are making their way well down the course. As you were saying before with the foot steering, I have foot steered a pair before, but it's very sensitive, especially with it being such a small boat. It's really impressive when a bow seat or even a stroke seat. I've stroked a pair with the tow and stroke seat, which truthfully I think that might have been easier for the crew I was in. Give that responsibility of the tow to stroke seat so they can kind of line up
and
with
they
the
can
buoy
look
lines.
right. They can look down the buoy line.
Exactly. So that I think was actually quite beneficial. But it is definitely a touchy steering system. And in lane 9 and in lane 6, we have 2 crews that are really, really pushing for that first and second place finish. And then it does look like in lane 7 and 4, we do have a really big push for a third place finish.
So super cool for this this A final, this grand final in the varsity pair for everyone to be competitive, right? So we've got a couple boats that are up on the field. That outside lane, I believe, is Canisius. They're supposed to be in lane 8, might be a stake boat thing, might be a steering thing that they're out there in lane 9, and then lane 6, Manhasset A, trying to move away from this field here.
Absolutely, and these are going to be coxless boats, so no coxswain in them. There often is a lot of communication between the bow seat and the stroke seat throughout the race, making their own calls, whether that's just from what they know or live in action. They are crossing that 250 right now. Here they come into that finish. Let's see if we can see any crews really jack up their power.
Time to go. Time to go.
Tanks. Absolutely.
Lane 8, Canisius, crossing the line right here. Just open water.
Amazing job.
White unis there.
And Manhasset will be our second place finishers for that event in lane 6.
With a close third, Oakneck A. And then it looks like Oyster Bay, followed by maybe a half boat back to Row America Rye.
Awesome racing.
And that'll be your first clip of finishers.
And it doesn't stop there. It continues
we
all
got
the
some
way.
steering. We got some steering.
We
Hold
do
on.
have some steering.
Those lanes 1 and 2, 2 and 3.
Yeah. So when that's happening, the two oars that are closest to each other that might be colliding or crashing a little bit, it's important for those two athletes to start pulling really, really hard on those sides to kind of direct your bow balls away.
Looks like that second group finish, Row America Rye, Friends of Shen, Buffalo Scholastic, and Manhasset B.
I think what happened in that last little bit is both of our bow seats started going really, really hard.
It's time to move, and the stroke seats were like, all right, you gotta let me know.
Yeah.
Kudos to all of those athletes. You can see them in their little baby boats, one or each. The pair at race pace is a hard thing to do. So really great work. We're just announcing over on the Lees Park Regatta side shore. Make sure to pick up your medals. Make sure you go check out the vendor tent. You check the results. Go enjoy everything that the New York State Rowing Championship Regatta has to offer. All right. If you are just joining us, this is the 2022 New York State Rowing Championships. I'm Megan Goodman, and I've got my friend Meg here. We've got two Megans coming at you from the live streaming tent over on the Saratoga Rowing shore. Both of us are associated with Saratoga Rowing, so we know this creek, we know these lanes, and we're happy to get to share it with you today.
And on this live stream, you do see some kayakers. They are not part of the event. However, they can try if they want to. We do have some Buoys U17 singles coming down for a final right now. This is going to be an 8-boat event. In lane 8, Long Island A. Lane 7, Niskayuna A. Lane 6, Mohawk A. Lane 5, Port Jefferson A. Lane 4, Friends of Shen A. Lane 3, Oakneck B. Lane 2, Port Jefferson B. And in lane 1, Port Jefferson C. So, big event, full traffic today on the race course. It will be an exciting time for all of our athletes.
So these U17 men are under 17 years old. So 14, 15, 16, they're out there in the single, just them and their 2 oars. No coxswain, no coach. They've got a race plan, they've got a warm-up plan, and we're hoping they can execute that today. Very, very warm here on Fish Creek. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Hydration check. Everyone grab a buddy and a water bottle. Lots of sunscreen, sunglasses, hats, all of the good things. Keep yourselves energized for your finals later today.
Absolutely, even if that means dunking a visor or a hat in the water off the dock.
The water is chilly.
The water is chilly. I actually went in last week or the week before.
Purposely?
Yes, we had a Cox box that was slowly sinking to the bottom of the creek, so I jumped in and retrieved it. But all is well.
Props to you, Coach Meg.
Thank you. Dedication, I suppose. But yeah, it did feel good. It's about 40 degrees. So we do see these races coming through the 500 meters within a couple of buoys. Across the board, you can see really all of the racers are still in it. They're still pushing really hard to really pick up speed and move their crews all the way to the finish line. So especially with this being U17 singles, it's going to only be one rower by themselves. with 2 oars in each hand. Oh, 1 oar in each hand, making that total of 2 oars.
Woo, that would be quite a tricky boat, wouldn't
That would
it?
be very tricky. Can you imagine?
And Meg, we talked about this a little bit ago, but due to our seating, our fastest boats will be in lane 8 on the left-hand shore, and our slower boats will be on the right-hand shore. And these first 5, 6 boats are a beautiful example of how we seed this. We do it so that your leading boat, looks like Long Island Rowing A, can look right back to Niski, right back to Mohawk Homeschool, to Port Jefferson, and to Friends of Shen. Looks like Oakneck B, slightly off the pace, followed by on maybe a boat length up, Port Jefferson B and C. So those 2 outside lanes, 1 and 2, are buds. Look like they're creating some friendly team competition.
They really are, which is awesome. It's always so great to be able to race your teammate, knowing how they practice, knowing kind of the inside scoop of what they're going to be throwing down for their race.
Especially if you've been in a boat with them. Maybe these 2 are rowing the double, the quad, the 8 later today.
Yeah.
And this is kind of just a
Friendly
individual thing. But Long Island Rowing Club A, really that beautiful blue boat. Maybe 2 boats have opened back to Niskayuna rowing.
Yeah, Niskayuna they're pushing towards Long Island as they're also pushing off Mohawk, which is a great position to be in. You're hungry, but you're also gritty to keep your place where it is. And we see a whole echelon of crews across the board.
Gorgeous seating. Whoever did that, I don't know. Well done.
Yes, it was truly well done.
I'm sure there's some sort of a program that did that, but Long Island Rowing pulling away, and then in pretty tight formation, Niski with a boat up on Mohawk, with a boat up on Port Jefferson, with a boat up off of Shen. Woo, a tongue twister. But that bright blue boat, Long Island Rowing, you can see them just reaching far out, pushing the legs. Well done there, Long Island.
Absolutely.
But it's never too late. Meg.
Never too late, especially not in the single or a small boat altogether.
You can't give up if you're behind. The race isn't over till it's over, right?
Yeah, and I would say lanes 7, 6, 5, and 4. Truthfully, it's still anybody's
All
race,
within
especially
movement.
for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could hear the cheers starting. We must be getting close to the finish here. We've got that Long Island Rowing Club A boat, maybe 20 strokes to the line. So he's gritting. This is the hard part. You're about there. You've got enough of a lead that you could get comfortable, but likely your competitive mindset, and I can tell you right now, as he brings up the rate, is telling him not enough.
Absolutely, and this athlete is so determined. They haven't looked over their shoulder once. They know that they're going to finish strong, and they're just gunning down that course. They're doing an amazing job.
Oh, and then we got to fight for second.
And as we mentioned before, it's anybody's race.
Oh, hold on. Niskayuna's got about a half boat up, but we have Mohawk and Port Jefferson charging.
Who's going to outstroke each other? Oh, that is a photo
I
finish.
don't have anything for that, Meg.
I truthfully don't. I wouldn't be surprised if that was
Niskayuna with
even.
a half boat up, and Port Jefferson and Mohawk, bow ball to bow ball.
Amazing. These athletes that are still on the course are still hauling all the way down to that last 250. They're jacking the rate. You see it. You see it across the board in lanes 1, 2, and 3.
I believe that might be 1, 2, and 4 with our friends of Shen in the green.
1, 2, 4. Amazing.
But yeah, you're right.
And we have 2 crews crossing the finish line, really
like
being
Port
competitive.
Jefferson B and C.
Amazing racing.
I think C might have taken out B there.
They might have.
C's got something to prove there. Well done, Port Jefferson, entering lots of singles here, and Friends of Shen, Upstate New York Solidarity.
Awesome.
Love that green crossing the line.
Great racing, everybody. And up next, we are going to have our girls novice 8, so we are going to start transitioning into those big boats here for a grand final, it looks like. So a big boat is anything that has 4 or more athletes in it, so typically it's just 4 or 8. We don't really see a lot of 6s.
We've got one more single still on the course here. So while those 8s are lining up, we will just wait. This may actually be a Port Jefferson boat coming in now. We'll clarify that up for you, but still fighting down the course. Again, that single can either be a really empowering internal place, a really externally competitive, and sometimes it can be a lonely place. So there's a lot of demons that these athletes will fight through on their way down the course. And honestly, I think one of the biggest wins you can have is a completion of a race.
Absolutely.
In the single, especially they've raced a time trial this morning. Likely that they will have raced again in potentially a bigger boat like you were talking about, an 8, a 4, a quad. So huge congrats
to our lane 1 finisher.
That'll be our Port Jefferson C. So my mistake on that last one. Port Jefferson B and Oak Neck B finishing, and then this will be Port Jefferson C following through.
Great. And this event that is up and coming for our Girls Novice 8 is going to be a full event with 9 crews. Over in lane 8, which will be all the way to the left of your screens, is going to be City Island Rowing A. In lane 7, Baldwinville Crew A. Lane 6, Liverpool A. Lane 5, Manhassa A. Lane 4, Our Lady of Mercer A. Lane 3, City Honors A. Lane 2, Fayetteville A. Lane 1, Pittsford A. And in lane 0, Emma Willard. This is going to be a really great event, especially for our athletes that are out there. Being a Novice 8, that could mean you have less than a years of experience under your belt racing for your team, which is really exciting. You
Novice year is the dream. I had so much fun my Novice year. Fun fact, none of them are listening, but the women that I rode in my very first Novice race with, I went to one of their weddings, and the 4 of us were her bridesmaids.
That's so cool.
In her wedding 10 years later.
An awesome crew that was then.
It was phenomenal. It was the best. So these Novice 8s, you might just have a boat of your bridesmaids. Who knows?
That'd be so cool.
Isn't that
Can you
precious?
imagine?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so for our Novice 8s, this is going to be a year for them that they really jumpstart their rowing career if they choose to continue with it. And a lot of our novices do across the board. And for all of our novice rowers, this is a time where they get to focus on the things like having fun while they're racing, learning what a regatta is like, especially such a big one, New York State Championship. This is a great event to be able to be part of as a
You're
novice.
at the state championship and you've only been rowing less than a year.
Like, how crazy
Pretty
is
cool.
that? That's such an awesome part about our sport, I feel like, because everybody, no matter your skill level, experience level, like you get to experience the regatta in some way, shape, or form.
I've coached learn to row 10-year-olds, and I've coached a master's men's 70-plus boat.
That's awesome.
So everything in between. Gorgeous shot of our Fish Creek here. You can see our start of the 1500, and then past that we've got another 500 meters to make a straight 2K, and then that big turn will be our S turn. That's our main, our main challenge of our Head of the Fish, our fall Halloween race. Up there you'll also find Skidmore Rowing, one of the college teams in town. We can do from this 1500 about another 3.5K of pretty solid rowing. You can go another 5K past that if you are in a single and you like turning and you like turning around and you like going through mazes and weeds and bridges. But pretty much 5K from the finish line bridge up to, we call it the Broken Bridge. It's a little abandoned wooden bridge. Yeah.
I've actually rode through the Broken Bridge, which it is the width of that rowable water. I think you can maybe fit 2 singles across. Maybe if you were lucky. It's kind of crazy. It's like forbidden, unknown territory for all rowers local to the Fish Creek. But yeah, you can definitely see all of our stake boats. You can see our Novice 8s finishing, getting locked into all of their stake boats right there. And it looks like we're going to be underway of this race very soon.
You can see some of our lower lanes, maybe 2, 3, 4, are a little bit sideways still in their lanes. They're trying to pull in. Maybe we've got a little crosswind up there. From the finish, it's a pretty light headwind, maybe slightly cross from low lanes to high lanes. But good conditions for a Novice 8 race, honestly. We've seen worse, knock on wood. Yeah, we definitely have seen worse. Everybody's been part of a race that's been a little crazy. But what's really cool about this race is, unlike the morning when we did time trials, all of these stake boats were not actually being utilized. All of their rowers were kind of off to a running start, so to speak, to get onto the course. And then for the stake boats, there's actually athletes
primarily middle school and high school athletes that have volunteered their time.
Our heroes of the day, our volunteers.
They truly are. They're actually laying on these floating pieces of wood that kind of have like these pontoon bubbles underneath them. They'll be holding all of our boats ready and in line for a fair and even start.
You know what, Meg? I think lane 8 may be out of commission. I know they were having some stake boat issues, and as I put the pieces together, maybe that's why our lane 8 has been empty and lane 9's full, is maybe lane 8's got some stake boat issues. But doesn't make any difference of a race for our lane 8 athletes. Again, starting from that left-hand side, looking like they're in lane 9, but our lane 8 bound number will be City Island A, lane 7 Baldwinsville Crew A, 6 Liverpool High School A, 5 Manhasset High A, 4 Our Lady of Mercy A, 3 City Honors A, 2 Fayetteville Manlius A, 1 Pittsford Crew A, and lane 0 Emma Willard School, who also has been launching out of the Saratoga Shore.
Awesome, and good luck to all those racers. This is going to be a really phenomenal race to see. They're going to kind of kickstart the big boat races of our 8s. We did see a couple quads come down already. But they're really going to be sending our 8s down the course for the first time in this grand final for the New York State Championship weekend.
You can see our coxswains and our bow seats, so the athletes closer to the finish line, just trying to get their way in, get straight down the line, lock in, and again, shortest distance is point A to point B.
Absolutely, and for all the family and friends that are watching, maybe this is a first-time regatta for all of you. Maybe you're experienced in seasoned pro. Behind the stake boats, towards the top of your screen, is where all of your athletes are rowing down to the start line. So, if they talk about just before the stake boats or the start of the race, so to speak, this is kind of what they're talking about. This area is a continued warm-up lane, as well as it helps line them up for the race that's about to come. So you can see a couple crews are kind of making their own little start of a race is what it looks like, but really what they're doing is they're lining up.
And they're off! There we go!
They're off, and it looks like some crews are a little bit crooked in their lane, but they're straightening it out. They're doing a good job getting back into it.
Yep, lanes 1 and 2, hold on.
And lane 0 is coming in for the party. That's okay. I'm sure they'll straighten themselves right out.
You can see that Marshall heading right over. Hopefully that's just a novice trying to get their grounds and that nothing is broken with the steering.
Absolutely.
The officials can call breakage or equipment or unfairness should any of these boats wiggle a little too much. But so far so good.
Yeah, and it looks like all coxswains have full control of their shells now, which is great.
And I'm going to pop out. Meg's going to cover this race real quick. My Saratoga ladies are about to launch, so I will be right back.
Awesome, and best of luck to them. So we are in the first 500 of the race with our Varsity 8 novice crew. They're in full send, and you can totally see right now it's still anybody's race. We have a full event right now with 9 boats, and we are utilizing the entire length of the race course, minus lane 8. And wow, look at this field. Every crew still has overlap of one another. This is amazing racing. Rarely do you see such a strong field of athletes being able to hold each other across the board just like this. It's going to create a really competitive event, especially as they break into that second 500. And if you look on the bottom of your screen, you can kind of see a little white ball. That is going to be our 500 meter buoy. That signifies the first 500 separated from that second 500. And it looks like the field's about to cross into it. Your first 500 is primarily going to be filled with adrenaline, and your second 500 is where crews are going to be really dominating and emphasizing their base speed, as well as taking any moves to try to advance themselves further into that field. And in lane 8, we do have City Island Rowing A pulling ahead to mark out their dominance of this event. Still absolutely anybody's race. And in lane 6, we have Liverpool High School A. They are coming up, poking out ahead of the pack for a tie with second place finish right now. Also with lane 2 being Fayetteville A. And wow, this is an amazing event. Look at all of these novices go. They've got to be so proud, especially rowing less than a year into their entire career, and then being able to perform at this level. Absolutely amazing. You will take note that all of our boats today are being port stroked. The way to tell that is if you look at the athlete that is stroking, she'll be the one on your screen right now that's all the way closest to the top of the screen in each individual boat. They all have their oar coming out towards the right hand side of their body. Our port oars come off of a rower's right hand side of the body, and then our starboard oars come off the left hand side of the body. So all of these 8s are port stroked, which is really cool to see. Sometimes you'll have them starboard stroked, sometimes you'll have a bucket in there which could have 2 people that have the exact same oar coming out of them side by side each other, which you don't see it too often, but you definitely do see it enough. Alright, so continuing into the race, City Island Rowing has clearly made their stance. They have a stern deck of open water on what looks like lane 6, Liverpool A. Lane 6, though, is still neck and neck with lane 7, which is Baldwinsville A, and lane 5, Manhasset A. And then if we pop over towards the right of our screen, in lane 2, we have Fayetteville A that is not giving up on this pack. They're holding in, and it looks like they're crawling into the bow seat of lane 6, Liverpool A. All crews doing an amazing job. They have just crossed into that last 500 meters. So we did see some dominance. We saw some separation in that middle 500. And in that last 500 right here, we're going to see what crews are going to be able to sprint it out, gain some more open water, or close the gap, and maybe even pass some crews. But especially for lanes 7, 6, 5, and 2, this is tight. This is awesome. This is what racing is all about for our athletes, being competitive. I have no doubt our coxswains are looking across the lanes to see where they can gain speed. Alright, and they are crossing into the last 350 meters. Coxswains often, as they begin their sprint, some coxswains start a sprint early on, which could mean 400 meters, it could mean 300 meters. Other coxswains could call a sprint coming into that last 250, pretty much as you enter the red buoys, which you can start to see on your screen. That's when a coxswain is really asking for the rowers to give it their all, to leave everything out on the water. Alright, and we have City Island Rowing A over in lane 9. They're absolutely smashing it right now, sending it all the way down the field. I love to see it. And look at that shot of all of our crews straight across. We have lane 7, Baldwinsville A, lane 6, Liverpool A, lane 5, Manhasset A, lane 2, Fayetteville A, coming straight across. You can hear the fans cheering. You are the fans cheering. And everybody is doing a great job. Look at those rowers coming all the way up to that full catch. They're doing everything they can to get their bow ball to cross that line first. And for our novice 8 girls championship, we have lane 8, City Island Rowing A in first place. And it's a dogfight for second and third place. All the way through the line, we have lane 6, then lane 7, lane 2, then lane 5. Amazing job. And the race is still continuing all the way. All of these crews are pushing through that finish line. What a competitive field that truly was for the novice girls 8. Amazing job. Well done, all crews. And we have our final crew crossing the line. Wow, that was absolutely awesome. Alright, so we are moving from our girls novice 8 grand final to our girls U15 Cox Quad grand final. And for our Cox Quads, what they are is a quad, which means there's going to be 4 rowers, each with 2 oars. They're also going to have a coxswain, so there are going to be 5 athletes in each boat. One of them being a coxswain, the other 4 being rowers that all have 2 oars each in their hand. So this is kind of cool. Our U15 athletes are primarily our middle school athletes being on our modified teams. They are already off to a start. We do have a lot of similar teams in this crew. So we have in lane 8, Saratoga A. In lane 7, Niskayuna A. Lane 6, Saratoga D. Lane 5, Albany A. Lane 4, Burnt Hills A. Lane 3, Saratoga E. Lane 2, Saratoga C. Lane 1, Niskayuna B. And Lane 0, Saratoga F. And we do have Megan back.
We back?
She just launched
Saratoga Varsity Girls. We got 2 boats in the 2v8 coming up soon, and they are off and ready. Get pumped, Saratoga.
They are
Speaking
excited.
of Saratoga, Meg, how many boats does Saratoga have in this event?
I know, I was just thinking about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And are these athletes that you've been coaching?
These are going to be, I've coached one of our group of athletes for one of these boats. I've been helping out with our lane 8 Saratoga A crew.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so this is going to be a combination of 7th graders and 8th graders. I'm sure in maybe some other teams there might be some 6th graders in here. Saratoga does not have any 6th graders in here. But yeah, this is an awesome event. And for U15 athletes, this means that for the year of 2022, they have to be 14 years old or younger.
14!
Such a fun age to row.
And they're out there. I mean, we've got 9 lanes. We can see they're trying to get into those stake boats, but it's just a bunch of 14-year-olds. We've got 5 14-year-olds, 4 rowing athletes, and 1 coxswain in each boat, and they're all by themselves. I mean, coach launched them off the dock and said,
"Have fun.
Good luck, go get them." But they've got a whole warm-up progression. They've got a race plan. We're hopefully getting into stake boats, but yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but when I was 14 years old, I certainly wasn't rowing a boat.
Man, I looked over at my basketball coach and was like, where do I pass the ball next?
Yeah, like, can I shoot now? But this race is a 1500, just like the races have been all day, which that's going to be 1500 meters.
So just under a mile.
Just under a mile. So a mile is going to be 1,604 meters. So just under, but it's really impressive that 14-year-olds are eager, willing, and excited
and pumped
to go do.
I mean, the hype that's
race.
Coming from these middle schoolers is phenomenal.
Yeah, they truthfully get even all the coaches hyped, the varsity athletes hyped. They really bring the energy to all boat houses.
So this girls U15 4X Plus will be one of the more complicated named boats. So the 4 is the 4 rowing athletes. The X means it's a quad. So each athlete has 2 oars, and that plus demonstrates that there's a coxswain in there. So somebody who's doing the steering, they've got a microphone, a headset on, they probably have a GPS, and they are relaying all of that information to their athletes, often not only speed and distance and steering, but where are the other crews? Who should I race against? What should I do? So coxswains are essential to some of these boats. It's crazy how different a race feels when you have to be your own coxswain in a single or a double or a straight 4 or a straight quad. I thank all of my coxswains over the last years now that I row coxless boats.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. And all of these athletes absolutely love having their coxswain. Their coxswain helps them steer. They help be the eyes and ears for the entire crew. And it does look like all of our quads.
I think we've got a lane 2.
Lane 2.
That's kind of zipping around, maybe trying to get in a different lane or a correct lane. I'm not entirely sure, but the story is developing up there at the start line.
Absolutely. And you can see our full view of Fish Creek.
We are so lucky for the water today and the sunshine today and the competition today.
We've really lucked out all spring season. I mean, Saratoga
Knock
Invite.
on wood, tomorrow can still happen. But yeah, you're
wood.
right. You're right.
Saratoga Invite was an absolutely amazing regatta. So many athletes that race there are actually here today as well. So the Fish Creek is very familiar to many of them.
Favorite racing course, Meg?
That is a really hard one.
Two asterisks. The first will be the favorite racing course for like speed and racing and like just the course, and the second will be like maybe a race course that means a lot to you or has really fun surroundings.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I would say one of my favorite race courses for speed would be anything on the Schuylkill. I feel like the water is just so fast. They have such a big current that it really
that turn.
That one is a really fun, fast race. And with, Boathouse Row being your view.
So
down
this
the
is
race
Philadelphia, yep.
course. Yeah, and then favorite personal race course, I would actually have to say is Canadian Henley, the race course up there. The water, for any athletes that have or have not been there, is blue, like aquamarine blue. It's beautiful. It's actually a man-made island.
So they got to pick everything about the race course.
And the whole venue is specifically set up for rowers. From the stake boats, from the lane.
There's like huge signs over the lanes.
Yeah. Yep. How about you?
One closest to my heart is the San Diego Crew Classic course.
Nice.
I would actually say it's not the best race course to like row at. Gets pretty windy. There's a couple of bridges that you can get some really puffs from the ocean in.
Yeah.
And like the lanes aren't always perfectly fair because of these winds, but like there's a beach launch and your team tent has a taco truck.
That's awesome.
And you can go jump in the water after. And where I went to school in San Diego, you could see the campus right on top of the hill.
How
and
cool is that?
Just a dream. Sometimes there were dolphins or seals. So that one's closest to my heart. In terms of like being in race mode, down in Sarasota at Nathan Benderson Park is a pretty like
awesome.
You show up, get your business done. Like it's a very, I feel like when I go there,
that's a really cool
I immediately get into race mode. But I've had my fair share of fun races here on Fish Creek, that's for sure.
Yeah. And especially because Nathan Benderson hosts so many world championships.
Yeah, they're like an international
venue.
Ranked venue.
Yeah. And it does look like our under 15 girls Cox Quad is off to a start. So far, well, from what we can see, all crews are really neck and neck. Oh,
I'm not actually sure we've started yet. We're close.
I think I was seeing the heat radiate off the water. And I was
it's
like,
warm.
Oh, that's
it's
like
warm.
a good thing.
They're trying to get in there. Again, this is 14-year-olds and under. So you could be a 6th grader in this race. So honestly, really big props to all of those athletes out there. And thank you to our volunteers and our officials and our marshals for being patient with these athletes. Rowing can be a hugely lifelong sport. So we want to encourage a love of it and not a fear or a stress right from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Might be nice to be a kayaker on our left-hand side there.
I was gonna say we should have these kayakers hop in lane 8 if we're having stake
Let's
issues in
race!
lane 8.
Let's go!
That'd be hilarious. We do have some pleasure boaters out as well. Hopefully not waking. The one downside I will say Fish Creek is occasionally you'll have someone that's super excited to take out their jet ski.
It's a popular spot.
Yeah, and we're not always aware of the races going on. But 9 times out of 10, you get really great boaters out on the lake that are supportive of all these races. And they are actually off to a start this time.
Woohoo! Let's go! This is our girls U15 Cox Quad starting from your left-hand side. Saratoga Rowing A, Niski A, Saratoga Rowing D, Albany A, Burnt Hills A, Saratoga E, Saratoga C, Niski B, and Saratoga F.
Awesome. And this is a really big regatta full of lots of athletes, and especially allowing such young athletes to partake is a really great experience for them.
These athletes could potentially race for like another 80 years.
They really could.
So, maybe a first run, a second run down a state championship course.
Yeah. 94 and thriving.
94 and thriving.
All right.
So Cox Quads, coxswain, 4 oars each. 4 athletes, 2 oars each. Under the age of 15. A lot of these are middle school programs, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade.
They're locked in there, engaged. And truthfully, being a modified coach myself, it's amazing how intense and gritty our athletes can really get. So this is going to be a really exciting race to watch. It's really cool to see the maturity of these athletes when they finish a race, when they feel really good, when maybe something happened that they take as a learning opportunity. It's great to see this type of racing happening.
And we'll notice as these crews come through, some of them will have the coxswain in the bow, so closer to the front of the boat, tucked in a little like bucket sort of area of the boat. And some of them will have a coxswain in the stern, so more typical to what we'd see in 8s nowadays. And that just depends on when the boat was made, the boat manufacturer. So much of rowing is learned as you go, what boats mean, how many oars, what's sweeping and sculling, and so hopefully a little bit of watching today can give all of you friends and family and supporters at home a little bit better idea of what these athletes are doing.
Definitely. Looks like across the field so far, everybody is lined up pretty sure to cross. It's neck and neck. It's still early on in the race. You can see that 500-meter buoy kind of in the center of your screen right now. So the athletes are definitely getting out of that first adrenaline 500 and approaching that second powerhouse 500. So we have a couple crews that are through the line. It does look like we have a single that's also racing.
Maybe missed their previous race, but looks like, Saratoga A, that second boat in, our first leading quad. Niskayuna A putting up a good fight, hasn't broken open water yet. And then back to
lane 6.
Saratoga, Burnt Hills, Albany, and Saratoga E, as well as Niskay B, right in the mix. 500 left, maybe 600 left. That race is nowhere near over. Lots of movement left to happen.
Absolutely. It's definitely still anybody's race. And you can definitely see Saratoga A and Niskayuna A pushing each other, really fighting each other. And that single is honestly keeping up really well with
They're doing
quads.
Great.
Yeah. So shout out to that single, whoever is rowing it. But for the rest of the pack, it's tight. This is great racing. You can see all these coxswains working really hard, keeping their crew focused, engaged, and straight in their lanes.
Maybe a slight lead to Niskayuna B and Burnt Hills A, but Saratoga D, Albany A, Saratoga E, Saratoga C, and Saratoga F. Well, it's no wonder all these Saratoga crews train right next to each other every day. They know how to move as one.
They really do, yeah. It's like rowing a 16 boat instead of a quad, which is funny. Awesome. So these crews, as they're moving through that middle 500 and into that last 500, they're thinking and they're gearing up for what's about to come.
And what's to come, Megan?
And that will be their sprint. Their sprint is about to come. It's going to be exciting. It's kind of cool. The start of the race is super adrenaline filled. The middle of the race is when athletes really have to dig deep and really show all the courage and the grit that they have. And then that last little bit is also adrenaline filled. So it's almost like you're focusing on a 750 instead of 1500.
Yeah.
Just to really mentally and
that's like your
physically
base,
push.
right?
Yeah.
750 meters of base of I'm not settling, maybe of breathing, of connecting, of finding your rhythm, but that Saratoga A boat showing their Saratoga A.
Yeah.
Home speed.
Niskayuna is absolutely smashing it in second place through that last 500 meters.
It's still such a tight race back there.
It's tight.
I think this is going to make for some fun rowing, and we'll be able to hear as those final 5 or 6 boats come across the line, the coxswains urging their crews, just give them a little bit more, empty the tank slightly more. It'll be fiery. I can see some of our Saratoga athletes who aren't racing in this event making their way towards the end of the dock to cheer their teammates on. I'm sure very similar things are happening on the 9P bridge and excited. On the Lees Park side shore.
Absolutely, they're excited, and check it out. Like these are athletes that are under the age of 15 representing
14.
Their schools.
Go Boats!
This is so great. You can see how in sync they are. Look at that team in the bottom.
That's our Saratoga A.
Wow, really in sync. Niskayuna also absolutely killing it, being so in sync right here, just popping all the way out to the catch and pushing as hard as they can to that finish.
Our Saratoga middle school modified rowing program led by Abby Albright, with a lot of assistant coaches in our Orion team. We've got Meg sitting here, Lauren O'Connor, Veronica Nicasio, excuse me, and Karina Feitner.
Yep.
We've got Morgan Hummel.
Yeah, Hannah.
It's a full squad. Hannah Painter's in there, but man, this Saratoga quad cruising through the line. All of those coaches behind them.
Look at them go.
Oh, I see that swing. I see that Saratoga swing.
Doing a great job. Job well done to all of these teams.
And there is that Saratoga crew through the line. Likely going to be so thrilled with that result. Awesome. So thrilled. And then our single putting up a fight. I'm not sure who you are, single, but props to you for being in this race. Niskayuna Rowing A. That program is led, the overall girls program is led by Stacy, who also helps out here at Saratoga Rowing with our
Yeah.
Orion team. So lots of overlap here among these programs, which is fun. But here we go. The rest of our
Definitely.
boats coming through.
All of our athletes, our fans, our family, they're also excited to see these under 15 athletes racing, and boy, are they racing. They're all pushing as hard as they possibly can through that finish line.
I believe this is Burnt Hills.
And over in our far lane, we're going to have,
I believe that's another Niski boat.
great, and
Followed
wow,
by
straight across the board.
boom boom.
Another traffic jam.
I believe that's Albany Rowing Center and another Saratoga boat.
Great, and we
Oh, and something must have happened to that Saratoga boat on the outside. We've got bow seat not rowing. I hope everything's okay with that athlete.
we do have
And
our
it's just
stern
an
three
equipment failure.
fighting it all the way through as hard as they can. They're doing what they can to get their bow balls across.
Still competitive, even
Still
with
very
only
competitive.
3 athletes. Well done, Saratoga.
Absolutely. So that's another extra weight.
I know, you got a coxswain and you got an athlete with broken equipment.
Oh no.
And another Saratoga boat across the line.
Awesome.
Well done, you 15 Cox Quads. Huge props to all of you.
Amazing job. And I'm actually going to transition off commentating for the rest of the afternoon, but we are going to have Veronica, one of our Orion athletes and modified coaches, helping out Megan for the rest of the afternoon as I go help launch a couple of boats myself.
Oh, look at you go.
So-
Thanks, Meg. Feel free to pop in anytime, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
As Veronica gets settled in, we've got our next race on the course here, our girls Varsity Cox 4 Petite Final. This will be an 8-boat race starting on our left-hand most side. We'll have Our Lady of Mercy A, Spack and Kill Rowing A, Fairport Crew Club A, Rhinebeck High School A, Spack and Kill Rowing B, Sierra Crew, haha, A, Cortland Community A, and Friends of Port Rowing A. So lane 8 will be our furthest leftmost side, and lane 1 will be our furthest rightmost side on your screen there.
All right.
So it looks like leading the way, we've got Spack and Kill A, followed by Spack and Kill B. Again, teammates push each other. Really tight racing here in this girls varsity 4. So 4 athletes, 1 oar each with a coxswain. These 4 athletes are just thinking about reaching around, placing that oar, and kicking it away, while their coxswain does a lot of the steering and motivating and speed calls. But so far, out of the lead, Spack and Kill A, Spack and Kill, Rhinebeck High School A, and then looks like Cortland Community and Sierra Crew. Holding on tight with Friends of Port still right in the mix. So we've got Veronica on the scene here. Welcome.
Hello. Happy to be here, everybody.
We'll hop right in. Our girls Varsity Cox 4.
Cool. So it looks like most of these are bow loaders from what I can tell. So the coxswain will be closest to the bow.
That front of the boat. They're tucked in like in a little sleeping bag.
Yep. Hope they're staying cool down there.
Their little head will pop out just to turn around to see where other crews are, trying to make some moves.
Yep.
So we've got Spack and Kill A still leading the way. Rhinebeck High School putting up a fight though. They are not willing to get another seat or 2 down.
Our Lady of Mercy's in lane 8. They still have decent contact with everybody as well.
Lane 6 holding on there, Fairport Crew. And 8765432 looks like Cortland Community. Or that may actually be Sierra Crew, excuse me.
Yes.
But really tight racing, all crews. So a lot of these athletes, this is their 3rd race of the day. Could be 2nd, could be 4th. They've all done a time trial in this event, and they may have also raced a 8, a single, a quad, whatever it may be. But good conditions, little bit of a headwind. Here they come to the last 250.
All right. Here we are are in the red buoys.
Veronica, what does red buoys mean to you?
Just go.
That's it. Just let loose.
Yep. Just all out as fast as you can, emptying the tank, whatever you have left. It's very exciting.
We'll hear a lot of these coxswains tell their rowers to pick up the rate, keep it moving, start making their final moves on crews. It's a pretty tight race here. We do have that Spack and Kill A boat slightly ahead of the field, but a race for second between, looks like Rhinebeck High School, Friends of Port, and Sear Crew. But good open water here. Just barely. That looks like lane 7 Spack and Kill. Lane 1 Friends of Port. Maybe just behind lane 5 Rhinebeck High School. And wow, it is a race in for a lot of these crews. Our Lady of Mercy coming in. There you can see these ladies finishing, crossing the line. Big moves by all these boats in the end. That looks like Cortland Community.
Awesome, nicely done. Yeah, we're reaching peak heat of the day, so we're encouraging all our athletes to stay hydrated, putting on multiple layers of sunscreen, staying in the shade in between races, because
it's toasty.
It's toasty.
It's toasty, and it's not going to get any less toasty. So that was our Petite Final for those 4. So our boats 10 and upward, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, etc. Next up will be the 117 race, again running a little bit behind just for the safety of crews. We want to have all of our marshals ready to go. Our girls Varsity Cox 4, Final 1.
All right.
You can see our Saratoga Mod athletes, our middle schoolers that just raced that U15 Cox Quad. We're getting ready on the docks, but looks like our next race is ready to go.
In lane 8, we have Row America Rye A. In lane 7, we have Pittsburgh Crew A. 6 is Pelham Community Rowing A. 5 is Fayetteville Manuelus, lane 5. 4 is Westside Rowing Club. 3 is Row New York. 2 Baldwinville Crew A. 1 Nichols School A. And lane 0, we have Liverpool High School A.
It's going to be a tight one.
Yeah.
And there it is. It is a tight one. We've got that early leader out of lane 6, Pelham Community.
Ooh.
Looks like they're just up on Pittsford Crew, who is just up on Row America Rye. And then back of the field, Fayetteville Manlius, Westside Rowing, Row New York, Baldwinsville, Nichols School, and Liverpool. So really cool this final. Everybody's got a race. Nobody's out of it yet.
Yep. Yeah, that lead boat has really nice catches, all beautiful timing and clearing their puddles. Great distance.
Yeah, that white splashy part. Get that out and away. Send that back towards the start line. But lane 6, Pelham Community, doing a really good job just maintaining maybe stern deck overlap here. And then right back to Pittsford and Row America Rye. You can hear, those are our Pittsford parents over here on the Saratoga shore.
Here they come.
That'll still be Pelham Community with a slight lead. Looks like they've opened up maybe a smidge over Pittsford, over Row America Rye. Great racing by those top crews. Bow to stern for all of those. Then we'll have West Side Rowing. On that far outside, looks like that will be Liverpool. Row New York in the mix. Then followed by Nichols School and Liverpool. Fayetteville Manlius crossed the line. That may be Row New York coming through their last strokes here. Potentially Baldwinsville. We'll try and get a closer look on that bow number for you. And there you have it, our girls Varsity Cox 4 Final 1.
Alright, next coming down the course we have Girls Junior 4, U17 Final 1. Lane 0, we have Row America Rye A. Lane 2, Warwick Crew A. Lane 1, Warwick Crew A. Lane 2, Pittsburgh Crew. Lane 3, Brighton. Lane 4, Pittsburgh Crew A. Lane 5, Baldwinsville Crew A. Lane 6, Pelham Community Rowing. Lane 7, Mount St. Mary's Academy. Lane 8, Manhasset High School A. And this is, again, the Juniors 4, U17 Final 1. Alright, it looks like we made it past the breakage zone, which is the first 100 meters of the race. Usually in most races, if a crew has any issues or breakage within the first 100 meters, they're allowed to raise their hand and then do a restart. But once you're past that, it's fair game. Whatever happens, happens. It's considered basically the skill of the crew. Looks like we have a pretty tight race still. Every crew seems to have contact with each other.
All these fours just making their way towards the finish line, stroke by stroke. This will be our final one, so these will be your fastest Cox 4s on your team. Often the Cox 4 maybe could be your fastest 4 athletes. Sometimes you put those in a quad or an 8. Could be the 4 athletes that row the best together. Could be the athletes that row a 4 the best. But all over the place.
Yep. Kind of depends on what the coaches want to have as their best boat, and yeah, kind of all depends on different strategies. And
we are swinging through those lines. So you can see the coxswains' heads, just like Veronica was talking about, just peeping out.
Yep.
Come on, Pittsburgh.
There's we've got 2 Pittsburgh crews, a Row America Rye, looks like Pelham Community, Mount St. Mary, and Manhasset hoping to lead the way. All of these crews are seated fastest in lane 8 down to the lower lanes. So the goal would be to have a nice cascading waterfall of bow balls with the leading boats being in those high lanes and the trailing boats being in the low lanes. But as we know, your time trial does not always stack up.
Yep. And sometimes people come in with an extra chip on their shoulder and they just kind of show up or just go.
Yeah, fitness from the time trial. You may not be able to hold into the final. We'll see. We're in the last 250.
It looks like lane 4 is in the lead. That'd be
Pittsburgh Crew. They're cheering squad here on the Saratoga Bank.
Pelham's also right on their tail.
Mount St. Mary's right in the mix there in the blue.
Oh, here comes lane 7, which is Mount St. Mary's. Swinging on through.
Oh, it's going to be tight.
They'll take it.
Yeah, Mount St. Mary's with a good lead here. Maybe Boguston.
Yeah.
And then a fight for second. We've got Manhasset.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to say Pelham Community. And then Pittsburgh. Yep. That was Mount St. Mary, Manhasset, Pelham, Pittsburgh. We've got some missing bow numbers, a classic.
Well, I think it's there, but it's like barely hanging on.
Oh, I can hear the coxswains. It just throws my blood up. I love it.
Yep.
Brighton Rowing Club, Row America Rye on that outside, coming through here. That's lane 2, our Pittsburgh B crew. So lots of depth. We have 2 boats in that final Cox 4 here for Pittsburgh. Well done.
And that was Row America Rye that just finished. There we go.
And that'll be the finish of our girls junior Cox 4. All right, so fun fact, Veronica and I both went to a West Coast Conference school. So in college, we both rowed in the same conference. And today is our West Coast Conference Championship.
So fun.
So fun.
A lot of memories there.
I'm still cheering on my San Diego Toreros.
And I'm University of Portland Pilots.
Purple Pilots?
Purple Pilots. Bleed purple, as we say.
So super cool for all of these young athletes, these high schoolers. Maybe you're a senior and you've committed somewhere. Maybe you're a senior and you haven't committed somewhere. Maybe you're a sophomore or junior and you're just starting to think about schools, talking about schools. Maybe you don't want to row in college at all. But
that's okay.
And that's totally fine. But pretty cool to be out here, maybe connecting with some other teams, some potential future teammates. I know we've got quite a few seniors in our upcoming girls 2v8s and varsity 8s from Saratoga, and we are so excited for them to go onwards and upwards and relive those memories.
Yep, out in the big world.
Here's your hydration reminder. And they're off. This is the girls junior U17 Cox 8. Looks like we've only got one final here. So this will be all of our entries in this event.
It looks like we have a full laned race. In lane 0, we have Nichols School A. In lane 1, Bayshore High School A. 2, we have Pelham Community Rowing A. 3, Wappingers A. 4, Westside A. 5, Fayetteville. 6, City Island Rowing A. 7, City Island Rowing B. And 8, Row America Rye A.
I love those 2 City Island boats right next to each other.
Yeah.
That's so fun. That's 2 full boats of women athletes under the age of 17.
Amazing.
Crazy.
It's a good big group. If I remember correctly, I think City Island Rowing was the one with the pink boats, which is so fun.
Welcome.
I love that.
Welcome. Dream color boat.
Yes.
Would you pick a pink one?
Yeah.
Maybe. Veronica, what color is your brand new speed coach?
Pink.
So we can see a little bit of our headwind here, but honestly pretty great conditions. Really nice, fairly flat water. Nothing that's going to be too obstructive to your stroke. All of these girls, again, are juniors or under the age of 17. Those two different categories could be scholastic or club for SRAAs or nationals. So there could be two quote-unquote winners of a race like this. Obviously, there will be one winner of today's race, but in terms of qualification standards, it's possible you could qualify for two different events here, which is super fun. Lots of different colored blades. We've got our white flashing, our striped flashing,
Some
unis
red.
going with it.
In the olden days especially, the blade colors were so important because they didn't have technology.
There was no live stream.
There's no live stream. There still isn't that many.
Right.
Events
We're
like
very
live
lucky
streaming.
here that we get to have this.
Yeah.
So blades were essential.
Yeah, because there would be no other way that you'd be able to recognize your crews.
Had to know who was coming down the course. So 8 athletes. We've got 4 on port and 4 on starboard. Sometimes you'll have, I see in a couple of these boats, what we call a bucket. So typically you'll have port, starboard, port, starboard, port, starboard, port, starboard. Sometimes if a coach is feeling spicy or you need some help following, or if it's stronger, or there's a couple reasons, but you'll go like port, starboard, starboard, port. Or starboard, port, port, starboard. And that's what we call a bucket. So bucket rig. I think I've also heard, I may totally be making this up, but that if you have 2 buckets, it's a battleship rig.
I have heard that.
Am I
as
making
well.
that up?
I don't know. I think
I'll
it's a thing.
roll with it. It might be if maybe a middle 4 as one side, but I believe this is Row America Rye from that lane 8 furthest left hand, just extending away from the field here.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to pull away just a little bit.
Power braids. See
Yes.
a couple of them.
That's the secret. You can see that stroke just pulling so hard.
She's whipping.
She's
Let's
whipping.
go. Time to go, boat. And it looks like to be a pretty tight race among the other boats, which is fun. In this event, you've got over 80 athletes. 9 lanes of 9 boats.
Wow.
9 athletes per boat, and that's crazy to have over 80 athletes on the course right now compared to our, men's varsity singles where you only had 9. So yeah, this is Row America Rye charging down the course.
Here they come.
Wow, what a lead.
Yep.
How many boat lengths would you say?
5,
6? Yeah. 8? I don't know. They're only further extending it. They are smooth. Well done to this junior 8 from Row America Rye.
Oh yeah. You could hear their
Stroke
toxin.
seats like, let's go! Bow seats searching for that finish line.
Love it.
So there's our horn, and I would say these other boats still have another 100 meters.
Yeah.
There's
be
that
really
pink boat
tight for a
you were
second.
talking about.
Oh, there she is.
We think these are the 2 City Island boats, stroke for stroke towards the finish.
Lane 7 and 6. Yep. So these 2 gals are they're on the same team. I'm sure they practice with each other all the time.
Looks like City Island B with a half a boat up on City Island A.
Wow.
Go boats. Well done, crews. We've got splashing at the finish from City Island B. Splashing.
Next it looks like we have West Side rowing in the lead.
Yep. Looks like that's Fayetteville Manlius, and then Wappinger's Crew, and then cascading down, Pelham Community, bow to stern with Bayshore High, bow to stern with Nichols School. Oh, and our outside lane. We will confirm who our friends are outside here. Very possible they may have been added to a different race. We will clarify that for you, but well done, orange blades there. Hard fought race. That's the sport of rowing for you. Sometimes you know what's coming down the course, and sometimes you don't.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches and just adapt.
What do you think the most adaptive you've had to be in a race is?
I remember one time, it was at WCC's where we
West
were
Coast
launching.
Conference.
Yep. When we lost our skag right when we were launching. So luckily it was right away, so we were able to like pull it out real quick, bring it, and I don't know if, I think another coach had a skag, and we just like put it on real
Swapped
quick
it.
and just booked it out there, and we made it in time, and we did really well.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, and so we're just like, we just gotta lose a skag every time.
Every time. It's only like a $600 speed boost.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Kat, don't listen to us. Our coach is absolutely not sitting watching this right now, but if we tell him the key to speed is losing equipment, do you think he'll buy in?
Probably not.
Probably not. Good view of our finish line here. Big thanks to all of our Saratoga rowing staff who've helped put this in over the last month. One of
Also,
the
thank you
few-
so much for our volunteers.
Yeah,
We
huge.
appreciate you guys so much.
Literally could not run the regatta without you. We are one of the few courses in the country that has 10 lanes of 1,500 meters. And I think we've got a full 6 of 2K. So, pretty special place.
Yeah.
You can see on that screen our 4-boat race up next.
All right, and this is the girls' freshman 4, final 1. In lane 5, we have Spackenville rowing. In lane 6, Warwick. Lane 7, Nardin Academy. And lane 8, Manhasset High School rowing.
Looks like Nardin with a couple seats up on Manhasset ahead of Spackenkill and Warwick. Small event here, likely that a lot of these freshman Cox 4s, a lot of schools will enter like a freshman 8 or a freshman quad. So props to these athletes for getting in and being in maybe a less stacked race. Getting out there, getting another race in, super great for experience as a freshman. Nardin just taking baby steps away.
Looks like Manhasset still has contact.
They're holding on. They're not letting go.
Got a little steering issue. Hopefully it'll
Little
get sorted
movement.
out.
Yep. Oh. Yep. You see that Nardin boat? Slight mix up with those oars. There they are.
There they go.
But Manhasset took advantage,
Oh,
and they've moved.
we'll see if Nardin can make its way back.
Like you said, sometimes a little adrenaline does big things for speed.
Yep.
So you can see, I believe all of these 4s are traditionally rigged. We don't have any fun buckets. So 2 port and 2 starboard alternating here. Manhasset holding on to that little bit of a lucky lead they got on that Nardin boat, who kind of had a little kerfuddle, but hopped right back on it. And maybe some steering again.
It looks like they've strained out. So it looks like we have 2 separate races in this heat.
One of the perks of a big regatta like state championships is, even though you might not be the same speed as the winning boat or the losing boat in your race, you can still get some good competitive experience.
Yeah, it's just so fun being able to have someone next to you to go the whole way down. It's special.
And especially after a lot of these athletes probably had some weird years from the pandemic and eligibility and school and availability of rowing. Honestly, probably just so exciting to be out there doing the thing.
Just be back. Having fun. Pulling hard.
Manhasset's doing just that. They're taking advantage. Hard to say if they would have walked through Nardin without the slight crab or whatever happened in that Nardin boat, but Manhasset is trying to extend that lead here. Warwick
maybe a couple boats open back, and then Spack and Kill just slightly off their pace. So that first 500, as shown by that Narden boat, is often based off of a lot of adrenaline and hype and excitement. And then that last, 300, 400 can also be based on that same excitement and adrenaline and sprint time. And so that middle 700, 750 is often where a lot of crews have to settle in and dig deep and rely on fitness and strength to just continue to move. And it looks like Manhasset, crossing through that last 500, is doing just that.
There we go. Megan, what would you say is the biggest difference between how you race a 2K versus a 1500?
Sprinting. I feel like a 1500, like I said, you come off that 500 off the start, and then you just base for 500, and then it's time to sprint again, whereas I feel like a 2K you have a significantly longer amount of time to like rhythm, settle, make moves, whereas in a 500, I don't know if I would settle.
Yeah. You could just go.
You see that gazebo on the left-hand side? That's our 500-meter mark. Manhasset leading the way into this final 250, followed by Narden, Warwick, and Spack and Kill. Looks like they're going to finish, barring any disastrous events, in the times that they did their time trial in. So the seating was accurate here.
Wow.
That Manhasset boat just sharp catches, trying to clear those puddles, the white swirly bits from the oar exiting the water, just pushing away. A lot of the times it's easier to be the boat in the lead because you can see who you're beating.
Absolutely.
Bright orange of Manhasset in the last 200 here.
There they come.
I can hear the coxswain. I love it. She's looking around. She's making sure there is nobody in their sight, which there's not.
Yeah. And they have about, say, an open boat
Almost
length.
a full boat. Yeah,
Full
I would
length,
agree.
open water.
Ooh, it gives me the chills, these coxswains. These freshman coxswains.
That's great. And there they go.
And that's Manhasset through the line. Oh, big cheers from that boat. Hands in the air from the coxswain. Narden through the line here. Good job to those freshman crews.
It's well done.
And we've got our race number 2 of this race.
Looks like we have Warwick in the lead.
That'll be a bronze for Warwick here.
Yep.
Coming through the line, you can see on that far shore we've got some paddleboarding spectators right in front of us in our white tent on the Saratoga shore, but that'll be Warwick through the line. I can hear the coxswain counting down. I'm sure you can speak as well, but I've had coxswains who maybe didn't estimate the number of strokes right.
Oh, yes.
And said 10 more strokes and then got to 10 and we're like, 4 more?
Yeah. That's
Would you rather have
fairly frustrating.
too little strokes? Like, would you rather have a coxswain tell you had 10 when you had 7 or you had 10 when you had 13?
10 when I had 7.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yep.
So, nice word of advice for all our coxswains here.
Always overestimate.
Always overestimate.
Please.
Tell me I have 200 left when I really have 100 or 250, whatever it may be. Lie to me. It's okay. And that'll be Spack and Kill through the line.
All right. That concludes that freshman final for the floor. Megan, what's your favorite boat class to race?
The girls 2v8 now. That's what I'm most excited for at this regatta. We've got 2 Saratoga boats. Well, as my doubles partner, should I answer my favorite boat to row is the double? Veronica and I got to row the double at the most recent National Selection Regatta, and I had a blast. She might be lying through her teeth just to not shame me on live stream. I really liked the double. I really liked the pair, and honestly, there's nothing sweeter than a fast 8.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
There's just a level of speed there that you
literally can't find
anywhere else. Yeah.
I also love having a coxswain in those kind of boats. But this is our girls 2v8 grand final. Only 5 boats in this event, so everybody is racing here in lane 8. Closest to your left-hand side will be Friends of Port, then Saratoga A, Saratoga B, Nardin A, and St. Anthony's A. And looks like it's shaping out to be, again, that cascading line.
Looks like we have Friends of Port in the lead.
And these ladies are the wonderful team that I have the honor to coach here at Saratoga Rowing. We've got quite a few seniors in these boats that it'll be their last race.
Aww.
So, last race down your Fish Creek course. Make it a good one, boats. All the girls in these boats are like really hard workers, really pumped. We've had a good time training this spring, and hopefully this is the piece that they can throw down and be proud of.
Yep.
Annabelle, I see you. Let's go to 51. Stroke seat has hit a 51 in that Saratoga A boat, so can't wait to see a sprint here. But Friends of Port really charging ahead.
Yeah, they just have great connection. You could see just them moving through all in unison. Really good swing. It's great.
We've got Isabel Johnson in this boat, who is going to Louisville in the fall to go row.
Kentucky.
Yep, we've got another senior, Julia, Lindsay, who's moving on. Lots of big pullers. But Friends of Port, 10 strokes to the line. Here we go. Caitlin Roddy, our fearless coxswain, will be going to Brown in the fall. And that's, looks like Friends of Port may have had slight lane switches here. We'll figure out who those first 2 were. And third, we've got our Saratoga boat. Maddie Nolan crossing that line in bow, and then our Saratoga B boat. Coxed by our brown bound Caitlin Roddy, and then I believe that is Nardin Academy. We'll have to figure out who was in one of those high lanes.
Yeah.
They must have thrown another friend in. Again, it's rowing. Who knows what's going to happen? You might have another 8 in line with you there. This will be our St. Anthony's High, I believe, coming through the line here.
Yes.
Really fun race there. Nothing like 8s going down the course, and as a coach of the 2 Saratoga boats, very proud of that effort, of the fight that they've put together this season. So excited for future. It's fun to have 2 strong 2V boats. And a 1V with not all graduating seniors. Let's go.
All right, our next race is also a final. It's the Varsity 8 Petite Final 1. And it's only going to be a 3-boat race, but be easier to watch, hopefully. In lane 6, we have Clarkstown Crew A. In lane 7, Newburgh Free Academy A. And in lane 8, St. John the Baptist A. And they should be starting shortly. It's so nice to see that all the green and all the trees and all the leaves are finally growing back on
New
Fish
York
Creek.
isn't ugly anymore. It looks wonderful. It's summer.
So great. Amazing. Definitely feels like summer now.
Yeah. Yeah, real feel is warm and humid.
I think it was 90%.
Woo!
So, getting ready for that summer season.
So a lot of these athletes will go on this summer to race for their own clubs, maybe to race at a development camp, maybe to go race with someone else, maybe to aim for like a junior national or a U23 national team. Lots of options for summers with these squads, so very exciting.
Looks like we're still getting locked in up there.
That cool view for those of you who tend to hang around the finish line, you can see all of our boats warmed up and waiting just like little baby bugs up past the start line. They're just little ants.
Yep, so small.
Another big thank you to all of our volunteers, from our food tent parents to our dock masters to our parents finding bow numbers late into the evening yesterday, making those packets ready for you, our stake boat holders, which are mostly our high school and middle school athletes. Just really, really happy to have you all here. We literally could not do it without you.
Thank you also for friends and family and all you guys who support your athletes. Like, I can say from personal experience, crew really was a really good impact on my life, and I wouldn't have been able to do
She
it
says
without.
as the full-time rowing athlete and coach. But yeah, really.
Yep. So thank you.
We're here because somebody encouraged us and supported us, and same for all these athletes out on the field today. Someone got up and either helped with breakfast or purchased breakfast or washed the uni or donated money for the boat or whatever it may be. Thanks.
Takes a village, as they say.
Looks like we are still getting into those lanes. This is our girls' Varsity Cox 8 Petite Final. So 8 rowers, 8 oars, and a coxswain. The coxswain will have a microphone and a headset that is broadcast throughout the boat, so even the athlete 20 feet away, 30 feet away can still hear them, as well as a GPS that can give you stroke rate and splits and time and distance and speed and all of those fun things. Looks like they may be off our 3-boat race. 3 boats on the course. Again, Clarkstone Crew in lane 6, Newburgh Free Academy in lane 7, and St. John the Baptist in lane 8. Sometimes a little bit smaller race can be even more competitive because there's less people to walk away from or be walked on. So hopefully this race turns out to be a good one for these 3 crews.
Yep.
And as we near the second half of this afternoon, check out the merch tent, check out the vendor tents, lots of cool stuff for you and your rowing supporters and your little siblings that you drag to regattas, and maybe your dog, everybody in between. Favorite part of regattas, other than these lovely Saratoga athletes docking after their awesome race, is the dogs.
Yes, we love the dogs.
3-boat race still here. So we'll try and get a good view on these guys, but 3 boats, Clarkston, Newburgh Free, and John the Baptist, duking it out for spots Looks like we've got 8, 9, and 10 in the girls varsity 8. So all of these boats will try and be top 10 in New York State rowing championships, which is pretty cool. Depending on the size of your program or the experience of your program or the longevity of it, you may have a harder time fielding a full varsity 8. So huge props to all of these crews for coming down ready to fight. Must be a nice day on Fish Creek. We've got paddleboarders in swimsuits. Man, 3 weeks ago.
It
Who
was
would
so
have thought?
cold. It's just so crazy how fast it all just changes like that. So good timing. Good timing.
I would say we've got a lead by lane 8, St. John the Baptist, followed by lane 7 and lane 6. But we'll give you a more accurate seat-by-seat play as they near this last 500. That'll be the big white buoy on your left-hand side. You see those red blades, like Veronica's talked about. Blades are important to see those crews when we didn't have awesome technology like this from far, far away.
So right now it looks like we have St. John the Baptist in the lead, followed by Newburgh, then Clarkston.
This is our finish line view from the live stream tent, trying to give you a closest update that we can. We might have a drone in the air soon for you, but again, just watching those blades keep moving their way towards the finish line. Through that middle half of the race, that settle in, rhythm, push through kind of race, and maybe moving towards this last 500 where they can be excited and sprinty and kind of empty the tanks here.
Yeah, last 500 is when you could start thinking about upping the rate. Some people start sprinting then, some people a little later. And the 2K could be like from the 700 to go to the 300 to go, depending on what your strategy is and how fit you are and how much you just...
Maybe crews in the 1500 are going from the 700.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Might be a little bit bolder, but who knows?
Who knows?
So it looks like St. John the Baptist leading the way. Clarkston with a lead up on Newburgh Free Academy. And another fourth boat.
Yep.
So again, surprises all day. We might not have the most updated record for you. Let me see if I can find that in our schedule. But we do appreciate the flexibility and the patience as we figure out what is happening over here.
Yep.
This will be our girls varsity 8 petite final. Looks like Riverdale County in lane 9. Lane 8, excuse me. Riverdale County lane 8, St. John the Baptist lane 7, Newburgh Free lane 6, and Clarkston Crew in lane 5.
Here they come down now. Probably less than 100 meters to go.
Let's go, SJB!
Fairly spread out race.
Come on,
I'd say first place has about 2 boat lengths.
Oh my God.
And they're pulling so hard. Oh, look at them go. All the way. Nicely done. That was our added crew. I forgot the name again. But we'll get that to you guys shortly. It's a tight race for second. I believe we have St. John the Baptist and Clarkston. I could just hear the screams of excitement from the girls there. It's so exciting. And it looks like we have Clarkston coming in.
They made second.
Finishing up the varsity girls petite final. Nicely done. Way to pull through, everyone. Hope those girls are staying cool. I know black boat can sometimes be very hot. Especially on the sun. Bright sunny day. Our next upcoming race is the girls' Varsity 8 Final. 2:05. In lane 1, we have Arlington High School A. Lane 2, Baldwinsville Crew A. 3, St. Anthony's High. 4, Burnt Hills. 5, Nardin. 6, Niskayuna. 7, Friends of Port. 8, Saratoga Rowing. And 9, Row America Rye. So it looks like we actually have a slight lane shift, the same order, but starting at lane 0. We'll see.
So this will be kind of the heavy hitters for our varsity girls. Likely these will be the top 8 athletes in a crew. Maybe strongest, maybe fittest, maybe most technical, maybe a little bit of everything. So this should be a pretty close race. I think times in the time trial were slightly spread out, but we'll see when we get these, again, over 80 athletes side by side, what's going to go down. I know there'll be a lot of seniors in these boats as well. So maybe their last New York State Championship race if they're not racing in a small boat tomorrow morning or another event this afternoon. So huge congrats there. Big deal to get through a high school rowing program and come out unscathed on the other side.
Yep.
Still excited. I know here at Saratoga we have a lot of athletes that are moving on to college as well. So really pumped for these gals.
So theoretically, this race should be probably the fastest time of the day. We don't have varsity boys today.
Yeah, I would agree. We'll see what they can throw down.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find us our results, see what those 2V boats went, and see if our varsity 8s can try and take that. Which likely they should. It doesn't look like our winds have shifted much.
Looks like we have a little lane adjustment. I think the marshal's ushering everyone off the course. Maybe we're realigning.
Realigning. We had some lane adjustments on our schedules too as well, so maybe the marshals are just a half second behind us. I've got those times from the girls' second varsity 8. Row America Rye, 5:34, so that's the winning time in the 2V for those varsity 8s to go after.
Nice.
Friends of Port, 5:44. Saratoga Rowing A, 5:52. Saratoga Rowing B, 6:04. Nardin A, 6:08. And St. Anthony's A, 6:53. So our apologies to that Row America Rye boat. You must have been missing off our schedule, but we've got you in there, and a huge congrats in the win on your girls 2V8.
Nice. We hope that the weather continues to be this nice tomorrow. I haven't looked at the forecast recently, but last time I checked, it was supposed to be pretty stormy, unfortunately.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully the boys will get a good day too. So, the majority of the girls' events are today.
So big boats for the girls today and smaller boats for the boys today, and then flip-flop that for tomorrow. So all of our girls' quads, Cox Quads, fours, Cox fours, and eights are today, and our boys' pairs, doubles, singles are today. And then again tomorrow we'll reverse that. Just gives coaches and athletes a chance to kind of try out both boats. Don't overload one gender and then just flop it for the other. Teams travel, often in big groups, both boys and girls. So trying to make it good for everyone.
There you can see our sheriff boat friend. We like to have hang out in case there are some
party people.
Yeah.
Some people who are here not to row, right? But safety first, speed second. So all of our officials and marshals out there trying to make sure that the race is fair and safe and fun for everyone.
Yes.
So if you're just popping in, this is the 2022 New York State Rowing Championships. All results and schedules and entries will be on streamlinerowing.com. And if you want to share this live stream with friends, family, supporters, it'll be on the Saratoga Rowing Regatta YouTube. It's also going to be replayed. It'll be savable, so should you want to go over your race, kind of check out how you did, what you did, maybe we called your boat wrong, you want to redo that, we're trying our best over here. No, you're welcome to go on and rewatch that tonight, maybe make plans for races tomorrow or for later in the season at Nationals or SRAAs.
Yeah. I know that video review for me as an athlete in rowing, it's so helpful because sometimes your coach is telling you to do something and you think you're doing it, but
then you see
it, you're like,
I am not.
That's what you mean.
Yeah,
even that drone footage you can
really
tell
take a
lot.
look at.
Yeah, it can be very helpful.
So not quite sure what's happening up there. Potentially something happened in the girls' varsity 8 and we're rerouting them and letting our next event go through, or we're just going to restart those varsity 8s. Again, we'll let you know as soon as we do. Until then, enjoy the finish line view of the Saratoga Rowing Fish Creek Racecourse.
Woo.
This is your hydration check. Grab a buddy, grab a drink, grab some sunscreen. Make sure you're making it through the rest of today feeling good and ready for tomorrow. I know a lot of our athletes today are also racing again tomorrow in different boat classes. So easiest way to keep up that energy is to stay out of the sun when you can, put those feet up a wall, and stay hydrated, stay fueled. All right, so hopefully locked and loaded. We've got our boats in the stake boat. These ladles will be off for a big afternoon final. Looks like we're still trying to find some points, trying to find some alignment. Rowing is one of those outdoor sports that, we've got conditions to deal with. We've got motorboats and launches and starting platforms and stake boats and all sorts of moving parts. So not just a basketball court or a baseball field. We've got weather and other people around us, so trying to make this day happen as smoothly and efficiently and as safely as possible. We're all here to just row fast and go fun, so trying to make that happen.
I've heard it described one time as herding cats on the water, inexpensive equipment.
Some of these boats are like $40,000 boats.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it looks to me like we've got a race off. I am going to say this is not our girls Varsity 8. I'm going to guess this is our freshman novice quad. But we'll keep you updated on who's coming down the course when we can. So if we're correct and they moved those girls Varsity 8s aside and went for the girls freshman novice quads, these are all 4 individuals, 2 oars each, no coxswain. And they're either freshmen, so their first year of high school, or novices, so their first year of rowing. Often it's both. Most freshmen, some of them may have not rowed in middle school, so we'll have a little bit of both here. Starting in lane 8, closest to the left-hand side of your screen will be Niskayuna Rowing, then Burnt Hills Rowing, Augustine Classical Academy, Saratoga Rowing, Shaker Rowing, Long Island Rowing, Port Jefferson, Pelham Community, and Poughkeepsie. They're in that middle 500, trying to find that rhythm, find that base pace, not let up a bit, but still catch a little bit of breath, get ready to build up again in the sprint. So often the toughest part mentally of the race, you come off that start with a lot of adrenaline, and then you can build back in to that adrenaline as the finish line is in sight, is the light at the end of the tunnel. But this middle 500 is really where that winter training, all of that mental work, physical work comes into play.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point you just gotta trust your fitness and have that strong mentality to just push through the pain and just hang on to whatever you choose to settle at.
And in these novice quads, novice means you've been rowing for less than a year. And up here in New York, it probably means that you had 4 or 5 months of winter. You've only been on the water so many times, so to have 8 oars with 4 individuals in a boat that's moving pretty darn quick. A quad is a fast boat. A lot of times there's so many moving parts, and the goal is just to keep things horizontal and level and stable and moving towards the finish line.
So up in front, it looks like there's a battle between Niskay and Burnt Hills.
Niskay's got what? Maybe stern deck? Maybe a deck overlap still?
Yeah, just not too much.
So Niskay, Burnt Hills, and then Augustine Classical holding on. Saratoga slightly off the pace, and then Shaker, Long Island, Port Jefferson, Pelham Community, with Poughkeepsie slightly behind. And if you can see, again, I think we've talked a little bit today about those straight lines and the steering in these boats. These boats don't have a coxswain. There is nobody whose main job is steering, and so you can see some of these jet trails like you see from a plane, some of these trails from the boat's path, maybe a little bit wiggly. And that's what we can see here in that Burnt Hills boat. Something happened. We are stopped there in Burnt Hills. Hopefully just a small crab and they can pick it right back up, but Niski is using that to their advantage to keep pushing away, and Augustin Classical moving right through.
Oh, there they go.
I can hear cheers from shore for that Niski quad. Just trying to move away from the field. It looks like Burnt Hills got their adrenaline back and they're moving right through Augustin Classical. Still a fight between Shaker, Long Island, Port Jefferson, Pelham Community maybe leading the way in that fight, and then Saratoga and Poughkeepsie in the back.
Yeah, Niski's just crushing it. They're barely on the screen.
Get out of screen! That's the goal. Get out of screen.
Yeah.
Let's go, man! Let's go! Regan!
We've got the flag up, which means crews are in their last 250 meters. Our timing crew is ready at the finish.
Come on, Hazel! Let's go, Niski!
There's our Niski in red, reaching for each stroke.
Let's go,
Nice.
Our local friends.
It's pretty good for novices.
They look
Nice.
great. They look great.
Nice job, ladies.
Balsi looking for that finish line. She's trying to get her crew there, stroke for stroke. Burnt Hills seem to have recovered from whatever mishap they had halfway through, and they are leading on Augustin Classical. All three of these boats local to Saratoga. We get together with them for inter-upstate capital district races all the time. But congrats to Niski. What a commanding race.
Yeah. They just led the whole way down. Then here comes Burnt Hills. And ACA with the purple-green unis.
That's a sharp uni. I do like that one. The purple and green.
Love a highlighter color. It's so fun.
This is Shaker and I believe Pelham Community.
Yes.
Shaker on that inside blue.
Oh! With the blue boat. Wow. Very close.
That's a traffic
Very
jam.
close.
I don't know. I wouldn't call that one. And then I'm gonna say Long Island.
Yes.
Welcome to upstate New York, Long Island. Port Jefferson making their way. Saratoga coming to the line, coached by Kara and Mo, our freshman girls. And Poughkeepsie coming in through. Ah, exhaustion on those faces. They gave it their all. Well rowed all crews. Congrats on that win, Niski. And good fight, other boats.
Yeah.
Won our last handful of races here today, so if you haven't already, check out that merch tent, check out the vendor tent, take a walk across the 9P bridge for a great view of that finish line. One of the few places you can look straight up a course. And these look like they are the girls' varsity 8s. Again, lane 8, Row America Rye, 7, Saratoga, 6, Friends of Port, 5, Niski, 4, Nardin, 3, Burnt Hills, 2, St. Anthony's, 1, Baldwinsville, and 0, Arlington.
This is a very colorful race. There's lots of different
There's so many
shades
athletes
in
out
here.
there.
Yeah. So in the lead, it looks like we have Row America Rye, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
followed by Saratoga in lane 7.
A bucketed Friends of Port. You see that fun bucket there?
Love a bucket. Yeah.
Niski slightly off the pace, and then Narden back to Burnt Hills, Baldwinsville, Arlington High, and St. Anthony's. Saratoga teams are running to the docks to cheer on their Varsity Girls 8. Again, lots of seniors in that boat. Very proud of what they've done for Saratoga rowing, as I'm sure all of these other programs are for their individual Varsity 8s.
Yeah. Like we were saying, this is probably the women, the top of their crew.
This is it.
Yeah.
These are the heavy hitters.
Yep.
Bow to stern, we've got Row America Rye up on Saratoga rowing by maybe open water. Maybe not.
It's very close.
I think they've got maybe 2 seats of open water here. Row America Rye coming in hot. They are cruising. They probably opened it up to 3 or 4 seats of open.
Nice sprint.
Saratoga rowing in here for a second place finish. About a half boat length back to Friends of Port.
Then you should be
Burnt Hills and Narden.
yes. I think Narden is the green, if I'm not mistaken.
So that may have been Niskayuna and Narden, excuse us. This looks like it's Burnt Hills in their red boat coming down the line. Ooh, exciting. Those Varsity Girls coxswains.
Loving it.
Sounding like absolute horse jockeys,
Yeah.
right? A whole lot of horsepower in these boats.
Yeah.
This will be Burnt Hills through the line. And then in similar cascading fashion, looks like we've got St. Anthony's, Arlington, and then Baldwinsville. We'll confirm those bow numbers are a little sneaky out there, but it looks like maybe Baldwinsville, then Arlington, then St. Anthony's.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Coxswains are yelling, let's go, 10 strokes to the line. That's Baldwinsville, then St. Anthony's. No, excuse me, then Arlington, and St. Anthony's bringing up the rear here.
Yep.
Great work there, Varsity 8s.
It's funny because when sometimes you're explaining to someone about rowing, and here's sometimes people say like, oh, like the coxswains, they're the person who just sit there and they don't do anything. I'm like,
Oh,
not
wait.
necessarily. I've seen coxswains make or break races.
I've heard
Honestly.
a coxswain can't win a race, but a coxswain can lose a race. So your coxswain is going to get you every bit of the way there, and then you've got to push.
Yes.
But a coxswain not on it could potentially, not be right there.
Yep. Yeah, good description. As you were saying, they're like the jockeys on the horse. They're the little guys just there for the ride.
Just
and
going.
They're just going. So much fun. Sometimes I wish I could be a coxswain. Like, I feel like I have
it'd be
so
so
much
fun.
fun.
I'm about 80 pounds too big to be a coxswain
Too
and
big.
2 feet too tall. But what can you do?
Yep. Wasn't meant to be. That's okay. All right.
Yep. All you.
Coming down the
Too
course.
excited for our next event. Too excited.
So excited. Almost done with my Dunkin' cup. All the
Slushy.
sugar. Yep. Trying to stay cool. We have girls U16 Cox Quad final.
Let's go.
And starting the low lanes, we have in lane 3 we have Shaker A, 4 Saratoga A, 5 Burnt Hills, 6 Pelham, 7, City Island Rowing, and in lane 8, Row America Rye.
And it looks like Row America Rye out to an early lead again. So 4 athletes, 2 oars each, and a coxswain. Row America Rye A out to that early lead. City Island, Pelham, and Burnt Hills holding in tight. And then looks like Saratoga, we may have a scratch from Shaker, or we have a scratch from Row America Rye on the other side. We will figure that out for you. Looks like a scratch from Shaker. So we'll confirm that for you. But Row America Rye out to that lead, and then all within a couple of seats. City Island, Pelham Community, and Burnt Hills. They look like little bugs, just making their way down the course. So these athletes, some of them have raced, everyone's raced at least once today. I would guess that some of them have even raced 2 or 3 times in potentially a different U16 event. So heat of the day, it is toasty out here. I am not doing any physical activity and I am sweating. I can only imagine, I hope they're hydrated and fed and have spent the last couple of hours in a cool, dark place.
Yes. I think they'll be sleeping well tonight.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So.
Row America Rye cruising pretty tight, maybe a seat to City Island, followed by Burnt Hills, followed by Pelham Community. Saratoga Rowing off the pace here.
So U16, say these guys are like sophomores, probably? Maybe a couple freshmen.
Yeah, sophomores, freshmen. They just have to be 16 or under this calendar year. So they're all 15. Oh, they're little ones. I don't even know if they can drive, but they can row this very expensive piece of boat equipment.
Yeah.
In that last 500, crossing now, looks like with a slight lead over Pelham Community and Burnt Hills, we've got City Island. Row America Rye just cruising. You can see that coxswain's little head. But really good overhead view here. You can see them reach outside, push their legs, and then bring further in with their arms as they kind of accelerate the boat. We call that the mid-drive. I love this side view. So I hope these Row America Rye athletes take a look at this after. They can look at blade matchup. Even our City Island, Pelham Community, and Burnt Hills friends can do the same. Some good side views, overhead views. Not sure this is footage that your coach is getting every day in practice.
Yeah. Wow, that'd be amazing. I could imagine a coach just like with their little
zoom,
drum.
zoom. You can see the color change of the buoys there. We're in the last 250. Row America Rye really leading the way here.
Nice. Yeah, they definitely have a strong acceleration at the finish.
Zoom.
So
Yeah.
their hands pulling into their stomachs is a little faster than their catch.
They're like building speed over the course of the stroke. So that's Row America Rye. City Island, maybe 2 boat lengths behind. Oh, Row America Rye coxswain is sitting up, calling them to sprint. She sees that finish line. Bow seats just gotta trust. Don't turn around, just go. And that's Row America Rye through the line. And our pink City Island friends.
There they go.
I believe that's Burnt Hills.
Yep.
This will be Pelham Community Rowing.
Fun blue boat color.
It's pretty.
It's that cerulean thing.
Cerulean? Oh, you fancy now. We got toga cheers from shore, getting their teammates all the way through the line here.
Here they go.
I believe these are some of our modified athletes or freshman athletes.
Yes, this is our 8th graders.
So 8th graders stepping up, racing in this U16 Cox Quad. Well done. Well done. There goes the rate as they come across the line.
There she goes.
Their teammates right there, you can see on shore cheering them on. Coach Kara, Coach Abby. And there they are through the line.
Nicely done.
And with that, we're in the last 6 races of the day.
Woo!
Woo!
Here we go.
Veronica, best recommendation of a place to take your team or your parents or your supporters to dinner if you're not native to Saratoga?
It depends on what you're in the mood for.
Your post 8 hours at a regatta.
Definitely somewhere with indoor seating and a good
And
AC.
a good AC.
Personally, I love Longfellow's,
Which is
which is
right up
down
the corner.
road. Yeah.
Walkable maybe.
Yeah. You probably parked right next to it,
Probably
actually.
were if you parked on a 9P Crescent and walked into the regatta site, very possible. Mm-hmm. A classic, Longfellows.
Longfellow's, which is actually right next to Yaddo Park, where I know a lot of the early American poets would come and do writing retreats. So we're talking like, I think Thoreau, Longfellow himself, and a couple others that were all friends would come here and like get inspiration and write their poems and essays. Which is just a random fun fact.
Coaches, if you need inspiration for your races tomorrow, now you know where to go.
Well, unfortunately, it's still closed to the public as of now, but
They redoing it or something fun?
Well, I know they closed it during the pandemic, but
Taking their time.
They're
Wanna
taking
make
their
sure it's all
time.
good. Gotcha.
and I know some of the more fancy people can rent it out, and I think they kind of like that.
Yeah.
So they might have just kept it.
Kept it exclusive, shall we say.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
so
I gotcha.
We'll see. Someday maybe though.
But you can still get food at Longfellow's.
Yes, sorry.
No, please. That's why it's called Longfellow, right?
Yeah. Some of my favorite poets from the Romantic era.
The romantic era.
Yes.
Nothing more romantic than being hot and sweaty at a
yes.
rowing regatta all day long. Bring your loved one. Keep an eye out. We did do Valentine's Day regattas. Some partner things. So Saratoga Rowing, keep us on your social medias and your results and everything. But it looks like with an update to this race, we may have had a boat with breakage or stoppage.
Oh, interesting.
Looks like everyone else is still racing, but maybe West Side Rowing Club with faulty equipment or an injured athlete. I hope everything's okay there.
I wonder if they'll stop it, because it looks like it's within the first 100 meters.
It does. But that launch seems to be right there, and I would think they would be pretty actively calling them off.
Yeah.
So maybe this race is going. Well, we'll let you know who's in this, and then we'll see how this plays out. Lane 9, closest to your left-hand side of the screen, Cascadilla A. 8, Pittsford Crew A. 7, Row New York. 6, which I believe is that boat that got dropped, is West Side Rowing. 5 is City Honors. 4 is Suffern High School. 3 is Buffalo Seminary. 2 is Sierra Crew. 1, Oyster Bay. Again, a full lane here, all lanes racing.
Yeah.
So hopefully that West Side Rowing Club crew just caught a aggressive crab or something and everybody is all right, and it looks like they are moving again. Yep. These are novice coxed fours, so could be a brand new athlete in the coxswain seat, in the driver's seat.
Yes.
Lots of steering fun happening
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
Fours are a little harder to steer than quads, just due to I'd say the unevenness of only having one handle versus two oars.
Right.
So it can be tricky, for sure. Especially when you're first starting and, you just learn. It takes time.
And what's great is all of these athletes are in a race with others who are also learning.
Yes.
So exciting for them to be right in the middle of it. In the lead, we've got Cascadilla Boat Club, then Row New York, then Pittsford Crew, followed by a race back there with City Honors High, Suffern High, Buffalo Seminary, Sierra Crew, and Oyster Bay.
Yeah. Again, as the field opens up, we kind of have like two separate groups going for it.
Cascadilla, Coxon likely looking over towards that Row New York. Coxon trying to look across that empty lane. That Pittsford Crew is back slightly, trying to keep them in touch. And then, wow, what a race coming out of these back four. City Honors, Suffern High, Buffalo Seminary, and Sierra Crew.
Wow.
Slightly off the pace, we have Oyster Bay, and then back West Side Rowing Club.
Yeah, these are just the kind of races we love, and athletes do too, I would say. Like, while it can be fun just to be up and ahead so far of everybody, like, I know I go faster when someone's like right on my tail the whole time, because you can see them and you're like, I gotta pull so hard.
And part of what's so cool about rowing is that everyone is giving it their 120% effort every stroke. Like, if I'm over here working really hard and you're going as fast as me, I know you are also over there working really hard.
Yep.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm slightly biased, but I think rowing is the ultimate team sport. Like, you don't have any all-star players like in basketball or soccer, which I do love both those sports, but you don't stand out. You're a part of your boat.
You gotta be a team.
Yeah, you gotta be a team. You gotta match up perfectly. Like,
Cascadilla staying slightly ahead of Row New York, slightly ahead of Pittsford, and then back we've got, it looks like maybe Buffalo Seminary has taken a seat or two over Sierra Crew and City Honors. Suffern High slightly back, Oyster Community slightly back, and Westside Rowing hanging in there after some kind of mishap in that first 300.
we're just starting to reach the red buoys here.
Let's go, Pittsburgh!
Cheers for that Pittsford Crew out of lane 7.
Let's go, Pittsburgh!
Family and friends very excited. Again, I'm sure the same thing is happening over on the Regatta side shore as it is on the Saratoga side shore. Flag up, we're in our last 200.
Let's go! Rush it, let's go! Keep it up! Let's go, Pittsburgh!
Row New York's coming back.
Push it!
Looks like that's Row New York. I believe that might actually be Pittsford out of lane 7 on that inside, just behind Cascadilla. Not sure what happened with our bow numbers here, but that's lane.
Oh my goodness.
Pittsford with the win over Cascadilla.
Wow, what a sprint.
Well done, boats there. So some lane movement here, that's all right. That may be I believe that's Cascadilla coming through the line, so it must have been Pittsford, Row, New York, then Cascadilla, City Honors. That was West Side. All right, so a little bit of lane movement here. We will figure it out. Those results will get to you on Streamline Rowing. I apologize to anyone who that City Honors crossing the line there. Sierra Crew out of lane 1. And that orange boat with the white tops. Stern loaded coxswain.
It looks like we have Oyster Bay and I want to say Suffern.
So Suffern crossing just ahead of Oyster Bay. Again, apologies, some confusion there with our lanes. Hopefully we'll get that all settled out.
It looks like one of the boats has a hand raised, which means
What
that
does
they
a
have
hand
a
raised
protest. So, as a coxswain or a rower, if you have a disagreement about essentially something going wrong that was outside of their control, that cost you placement in the race, you can raise your hand. And sometimes the marshals will allow you to redo a race, or other times they'll come to some other agreement.
Right, some certain amount of time or placement that kind of plays out. So something might have happened with, I believe, now that we're looking at it, that Suffern High School team. Maybe they moved over a lane. Not totally sure, but check streamlinerowing.com to get those full results, and we'll get those over to you as soon as we can from that girls novice Coxed 4. But on the course now, we have our boys junior U17 doubles.
So as we said before, a double is a sculling boat, so each person has 2 oars, so for one boat there'll be 4 oars total.
It's a lot of oars.
A lot of oars.
A lot of things going in and out of the water.
Yeah.
For a little baby boat.
And these boats do not have coxswains, so it's up to the bow person to be looking back, to be steering, to make the calls.
Veronica and I are part of Orion, our Saratoga Rowing High Performance Squad, and we raced along with a couple other Orion boats at the National Selection Regatta this past week in New Jersey. And Veronica and I rode this boat class together, the double. Favorite part of stroking a double, Veronica?
Ooh.
And not just getting to listen to me all day.
I do enjoy that. I like being able just to see the shoreline and just watch the water just run off the boat, and just to focus in on that.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
I guess
it's fun seeing someone in front of you, but it's very meditative.
Yeah.
Just kind of get
You're just
absorbed
up
by
there pulling hard.
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite thing about sitting in bow is when Veronica wanted to go, I knew it because I could see her and I could watch her, and it was fun to follow that. So hopefully some of these boys junior U17 doubles are having some good vibes. Hopefully their stroke seats are enjoying the serenity of the water, and their bow seats are enjoying the push of their stroke seats. But we'll see. This will be our only final for the junior U17 doubles.
All right. Oh, looks like someone caught a crab. It's at lane 4. Knox School, they're back in it. They're pulling hard. Good job. That's what you gotta do. Just quick adapt, get the oar out, get back in it.
Niskiuna with the lead. Then that Knox School, Friends of Shen B, and then Port Jefferson, our nice little line of boats. Again, super cool in a small boat like this to just look across and go. Ooh,
Got a little crab. Oh no.
we're going. Hold on, you can see those finish line docks in sight. This is Niskiuna out of lane 8,
Just
plowing
cruising
through
on
with the
ahead.
lead. Good job, Niski. Really sharp there.
Yeah.
Clean rowing. And
Nice
then we've got our
aggressive
dog fight.
questions. Wow, this is gonna be tight.
It's gonna be fun.
It looks like we have a Shen in front in the green boat.
Friends of Shen B. And then I think Port Jefferson is gonna walk. And then Friends of Shen A, and then the Knox School. Well done, those 4 boats. That was fun. And then that was Long Island Rowing, followed by Niski B, followed by Augustin Classical, and bringing us home is Manhasset High School. Do we have a hand in these doubles as
Another
well?
hand.
I believe we've got a hand from the Augustin Classical double bow seat. Officials are letting each other know that there's a protest on the water, and that could be maybe the start wasn't fair, maybe another boat crossed into your lane. What else? What else have you seen
If they
protests
clash oars.
Just something that impacted the outcome of the race that wasn't like your general fitness and skill.
Yeah, something that was not like beyond your control.
Yeah.
We'll see how it is resolved as time goes on.
This will be our final 2, our Petite Final for the boys varsity double.
In lane 8, we have Niski B. In lane 7, we have Friends of Shen. 6, Romerica Rye. 5, ACA. 4, Pittsburgh. 3, ACA B. 2, Cold Spring Harbor. 1, Port Jefferson. In lane 0, Clarkston Crew.
And this is for places number 10 through 18. So our athletes that didn't quite make that varsity final, but lucky for them, they get to still race. So regardless of whether you're in that fastest half or the slower half, you still get a good race out of it. Slight headwind, I would say it's increased a little bit more over the course of the afternoon here, but looks like Niski Una Rowing B is treating this the same way that their A boats did in that U17 junior double.
It looks like they're followed by ACA in lane 5. They kind of peeked out from the rest of the pack there.
But it's a pack.
Yep.
It's a real pack.
Yeah. Still very tight.
For a petite final too.
Yeah.
So hopefully this grand final is just as fun. Flag is up. They are in that last 300. Flag up. And as we watch these boats come in, we do have a shaker Cox Quad paddling at home on the outside. Looks like they were unable to make it down their race, so hope everyone's okay there and that, you have many more races in your future.
Yes.
And they may be on the course, just getting some sort of separate time. I'm not totally sure, but we'll keep you updated on that one. And that Niski boat just blazing ahead of everyone else. But really tight field behind.
Yeah. This should be a really exciting sprint.
Who's got something left? It's the end of the day. 3:15. Sun is high. You might have raced a couple times. You've hopefully eaten a bunch. What do you have left in that tank? So boys, varsity doubles. Niski cruising.
Yeah.
With
They're just-
ACA and Row America Rye. And then Friends of Shen and Pittsford. and then ACA, Cold Spring Harbor, Port Jefferson, and Clarkston. Niski, dominant in these doubles. Well done. Is ACA going to hold on? Row America Rye trying to make a move?
It's just stroke by stroke.
Oh, it's going to be whoever's on the drive is going to end up ahead.
Yep.
Oh!
Oh man, I think Row America just pulled ahead a little bit.
I think they did. They're about half a deck up.
Oh wow.
There's Row America Rye.
That was a big surge.
ACA.
Good fight.
Shen.
Boys.
Port Jefferson. Colds. I believe ACA B. Cold Harbor. Pittsford. And I believe Clarkston was on the outside there. Yes. Woo!
Very tight.
And that was our Petite Final.
Well done.
We are in our final 3 races of the day here. We've got our boys varsity double grand final, so same boat class we just saw, but this will be our top 9 boats. And then a 4-boat final for the girls freshman 8, and then a 5-boat final for our girls varsity straight 4. And then go take a nap, go shower, go grab some dinner.
Yeah, slushy maybe?
A slushy.
Love a slushy. Maybe some ice cream.
I think there's a soda pop fountain
Yes.
over on the other side. I haven't been over there today, but go refill
heard
your
you
soda
can
pop.
buy like a mug and
the
then
dream.
just refill it the whole weekend. So
Your
10 out of 10
commentators are
recommend.
thirsty over here.
Yeah, why don't you guys
Sponsor a soda pop mug.
Oh yeah. Greatly appreciate it.
We are well hydrated. We've got great teammates. I did have a slushie. I think I finished my water bottle 3 times. Beat that. So these will all be our final girls big boat and boys small boat finals. Tomorrow morning we will start again with time trials of our girls small boats and our boys big boats. And we'll have our similar thing as today where they do a 1 boat at a time trial. So going down the course 10 seconds apart for a place in the final. Shout out to all of our friends and our family and our supporters out there, not only for the athletes who are racing today, but for us as elite athletes and for our coaching staff and anybody else that's associated with Saratoga Rowing. We know we've got a community behind us, and we're very grateful for that. On the course, boys varsity double, starting from your left-hand side, closest to the Saratoga side short, lane 8, Oak Neck A, lane 7, Long Island A, lane 6, Oak Neck D, 5, Niski A, 4, Oak Neck B, 3, Canisius A, 2, Long Island B, 1, Oak Neck C, and lane 0, Friends of Shen B. So Oak Neck with 3 boats in this race, Long Island with 2. Looks like it's going to be a good one.
Nice. In the sport of rowing, there are several different techniques that kind of come and go as like maybe the next fast Olympian does this style and everyone tries this thing, and then or some other boat comes with a new technology and then people are like, oh no, this is the best way. A couple of them are kind of having a micro pause at the finish. I'd say this is more common in bigger boats, so like
Big like,
eights.
gather.
Yeah. Just like a tiny little pause at the end. And your finish is when your oar handles are at your tummy, when the blades are most in front of you. And that kind of lets, the theory behind that is to like let the boat surge, because that's after you push the water behind you to in front of you. So it kind of like gives it a second to like hold that speed, and then like coming a bit slower out with your hands. And some other people like to have more of an emphasis at the top of the catch. So just kind of like getting that quick pop when your blade enters the water, and just like get that load of the weight of the water on your blade just like right away to pick up the speed of the boat.
Get it going. Well, whatever they're doing, Lane 7, Long Island Rowing, is doing it right, or right for their boat, followed closely Oak Neck D. Looks like Oak Neck B and Niski are in a fight for third, followed by maybe separating a boat between Oak Neck A, Canisius, Long Island Rowing, Oak Neck Rowing C, and Friends of Shen.
Woo!
Varsity Boys Double. This will be our final boys event for the day.
Wow.
And now we get to see big boats. Big boy boats.
Yep.
And so as they approach, I'd say this final, they're in that final 500. You can see the white buoy on the left-hand side. They'll likely kind of take a few more at that rhythm pace and then start to build for the sprint. I think at that 500, even if in a 1500, you're in the last 2 minutes. You can do anything for a minute, so then you just got to hold on for the two until you get to that final sprint. So often that bow seat's calling a like build 10 or a sit up and get ready 10, or just something to remind their partner like let's get ready. Especially it looks like this Oak Neck D boat is trying to challenge the Long Island leaders. Niski moving up. Just looks like Oak Neck Rowing B moving up on Niski, maybe by a seat or two. And then Canisius, Long Island, Oak Neck C, Friends of Shen, and outside in that lane 8, Oak Neck A, just cascading off that pace slightly.
Cool. I think one of my favorite calls that I heard from the middle schoolers I asked them what kind of word they wanted to think about for like a power 10, or like what they wanted to cue for the coxswains, and the girls in this boat particularly decided that they wanted a slay 10. It's like, we just got to slay
10? That is a 7th grade boat for you.
Yep, but it works. They like it.
Coming into the finish line, Long Island Rowing, I believe.
Lane 8?
Nope, that's... we might have an extra in lane 9. But yep, lane 8, Oak Neck. Lane 7, Long Island. 6, Oak Neck. 5, Niski, right in line.
Looks like
Outside will be Shen. Ooh! Followed by Canisius, Long Island Rowing, Oak Neck, and then our mysterious lane 9. Let me double check and see who that may be. And I apologize, Oak Neck, you led that whole way. Didn't want to knock you down. Did not realize we had somebody in lane 9. And I still don't have anybody in lane 9, so congrats to our lane 9. Way to get after
whoever
it.
you are. Well done.
9 boats left out there today.
Woo, home stretch. Coming down the course, we have girls freshman 8, U16 final 1. This looks like a 4-boat race. Lane 5, we have Manhasset, 6, Narden, 7, Saratoga, and lane 8, Royal America Rye. Again, the lane with the high numbers they start from Saratoga Shore, and on Lee's Park it's lane 0. So it goes 0 to 9 from Leo's to Saratoga Shore.
So possible these girls raced in another U16 event, quad, Cox Quad, Cox 4, but excited to get out there in 8s. Looks like this is a pretty tight race coming through that halfway point. Penultimate race of the day. Here we are.
All right.
Got our kayaking spectators.
Just hanging out.
Best seats
enjoying
in the house.
sun. Truly.
If you can kayak as fast as some of these girls freshman 8s.
Probably not.
So if you're just tuning in for one of our last races of the day, don't worry. There is so much more racing yet to come tomorrow at our New York State Rowing Championships. A lot of these boats are trying to, number one, just get down the course as fast as they can. And then second, this is also a qualifier for SRAAs or nationals. So some of the more stacked events may be so, and we will get to see that. Some of our boats are scholastic or club or things like that. So lots to be determined from these races, but 2 left of today.
It looks like we have Row America Rye in the lead, followed by Saratoga. Followed also by Nardin and I think Manhasset. So it looks like exactly the lane progression that we have.
This Saratoga rowing boat, coached by Kara and Mo. Kara is a previous Orion athlete. Mo is a current Orion athlete. Both fantastic with these freshman girls and their puppies and their cats that we all love. A lot of boathouse dogs here at Saratoga Rowing.
Yes. Just great when you want a dog but can't own a dog.
You still get a dog if you show up to the boathouse. But Row America Rye with the lead here in the last 500, Saratoga Rowing, Nardin, and then Manhasset. So equally seated as they came out of the time trial. We'll see if anybody can pull an upset in the last 300 meters or so.
Yep.
That dark boat, red and white blades. Nice overhead shot here, Row America Rye. In their last, I'd say, approaching that 250 meters. We should see those buoys change right about there. There we are.
There we go.
Really solid for a freshman 8 here. Lots of power behind those strokes.
Come on, Toga!
All right, Row America Rye in the last 20 strokes of their piece. Coxswain's telling them to empty those tanks. They look good.
Yeah.
These are little babies. They're little freshmen doing so good, doing big things out there, ladies. Congrats. That's Row America Rye across the line. Great pan out to the rest of our field here. Saratoga Rowing. Look at those chevs.
There we go. Last stroke of the day.
Good job, Toga. No bias here. No bias. Got Nardin charging down in their last 250 here. Nice sharp white unis. How long do you think those stay white?
Oh,
If I had a white uni.
I never have had
Bad
one,
news bears.
thankfully.
Coxon, I hear, is telling them to give it their all. Yeah, ladies.
There you go.
And that's it, Nardin. Bow seat's like, I'm done. I'm ready to be done.
Oh, good job, ladies. They're probably cooking out there.
Yeah, it's still toasty. We've been in the shade all afternoon, which has been
Shade,
phenomenal.
but
This is Manhasset coming down the line in that bright orange. Blades going in together, coming out together. Big push of the legs here, ladies. Yeah, nice fight.
There we go.
Coxswain's yelling, "We got this." Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That bright orange shirt.
So fun.
She called 5 more. Let's see if they'll be right on. Pretty good count. She
Good
was
job.
4 more. And like we said, we'd rather end early than end too late.
Yep.
And that's our girls' freshman 8s.
All right. And here we are, the last race of the day. Girls Varsity Straight 4. Ooh, that's fun. In lane 4, we have Cortland Community. Lane 5, Warwick. 6, Pelham. 7, Row America Rye. And 8, Saratoga Rowing. So this is a 5-boat race.
5-boat race.
Woo!
Senior Bryn from Saratoga Rowing is stroking this straight 4. She's off to Columbia in the fall. And looks like she's ready to complete her last race.
Oh. The boat in the lead, which is Saratoga,
Yep.
is a bucket. As we mentioned earlier, that's when the blades are right next to each other, not every other.
Claire Macy and Megan Fairley sitting in that bucket.
Love a bucket.
Looks like we've turned into a 4-boat race. And you can see a little bit of wiggling in those trails that we see. Again, it's a straight 4, so no coxswain, just these athletes moving themselves down the line. But Saratoga, commanding lead. All of these ladies have already raced 3 times today, much like probably a lot of the other women in those boats. So thrilled with that performance so far, I'm sure. Girls, Saratoga girls varsity coach Lauren Shaw's got to be pumped about this.
It looks like they're followed by Row America Rye and Pelham.
And then potentially an empty lane for Warwick.
So it may
Portland
be-
community bringing it in. But Elizabeth Arneson sitting bow seat of this 4, ready to be the first one to cross the line. We've got everyone from Saratoga on our docks. Will they stay above the water? No one knows.
Here they come. Last few strokes of the day. Wrapping up
10
our
to the
last
line
one.
here, Saratoga. Let's go. Row America Rye not letting them walk anymore in these last 10. And there's Saratoga across the line.
And it looks like it will be Row America Rye with the dark blue and white blades.
Yeah, nice Row America Rye. Big showing from that crew today. All of those athletes from that program. Lots of boats. And another bucket 4 from Pelham
Ooh.
Community, I believe. Yep, Pelham Community. Bucket 4, white boat, white unis. And our final crew across the line today will be Warwick crew.
Yep. The yellow hats.
Yellow hats. Must have been a scratch from that Cortland Community boat. But Warwick crew wrapping up today at day 1, afternoon finals of the 2022 New York State Rowing Championships. Highlight of the day today, Veronica.
Ooh. Seeing the kids race.
Seeing the kids
It's
race.
so fun.
These
getting
young
to
athletes. Yeah. Pretty special.
coach. Yeah.
And we'll look for more of it tomorrow as that Warwick crew through the line there. And that will be it. We'll make sure nobody else is on the course, that we've got our white flag from our official. But check all of your results on streamlinerowing.com, your entries for tomorrow, one last shot for the merch tent or the vendors, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in. Have a lovely evening.